is a remarkable finish.
Burke goes for the corner and Leah Burke's in. And it's Tamsin Renew. The pass from Holly Dodd.
And this could be the first goal of the game because London are going to get them and touch down. He's gone for the same ball and it's going to work.
Beautiful.
They might score the winner. And North Wales have another.
Brings it up to the line, drops it off to Hazard who reaches through. Good afternoon, welcome to Game Day Live here on the Sportsman, and it's playoff season in Betfred League One. We're at Cougar Park for Keighley Cougars against the Rochdale Hornets. The road to promotion laid out in front of them, but of course only one team can advance today, and alongside me to bring you this one, Andrew Henderson. Hendo, it's the most wonderful time of the year, it's playoff season.
Absolutely, you know, we've got two really good quality teams that have had strong seasons respectfully in the League One competition. I think Rochdale Hornets certainly came alive in the back end of the season and are in some really good form and obviously have that advantage of playing last week against Hunslet. The Cougars have been fairly consistent over the course of the season, but it was known that in the last game of the season in round 20, Rochdale Hornets did come here to Cougar Park and defeat the Keighley Cougars on their own patch, 32 points to 18. So, you know, at the moment you would suggest form and from the back of the last performance would suggest Rochdale will have a really good chance in this semi-final. But again, there's a lot of quality in that Keighley Cougars side too, and a lot of big game experience that know how to win big games. So very, very excited of what's going to be shown on display this afternoon here at Cougar Park, Lewis.
Yeah, let's just take a moment to remind ourselves of the lie of the land coming into this playoff campaign. Keighley finishing second in Betfred League One behind champions Oldham. Rochdale in behind them in third. Regular season finished, as you mentioned, Hendo, on the 1st of September. Both teams had a week off. And then for Rochdale, they played Hunslet in last week's qualifying final, winning 30 points to 18. Keighley, they come into this fresh after a couple of weeks off. And the winner of this game will go through to the playoff final in a couple of weeks' time, and the loser will get another bite of the cherry. And these are for players and coaches, these are the moments, aren't they, that you work all year for?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we've got two clubs here that are ambitious and have got aspirations to move up to the next division, which is the championship. So ultimately, you know, they've both got equal opportunity. There's a semi-final here at State. The loser's out. The winner goes through to the grand final. So, you know, there's a real big opportunity for, like I said, for either club to put themselves in a position to earn promotion. But let's not kid ourselves. The change for those viewers at home that maybe not be aware, it has changed slightly. It won't be just a case of winning the grand final gets you automatic promotion to the Betfred Championship. They will have to play the 12th place team from that competition.
Opportunity knocks. A massive game on the way. Let's get the views of both head coaches. Jake, thank you for joining us. You've had a bit of time to rest and recuperate, reset a bit after the regular season. How have you used that time? How's your squad looking coming into this?
Yeah, squad's looking good. You know, we're refreshed, we're energised. You know, the boys have had a tough few weeks. You know, we're not accustomed to having this long off, especially going to a finals. But the boys are raring to go.
Come up against the Rochdale team, a side that you've had a real good go at each other across the course of the season in those 3 games. You'll know what to expect. I suppose it's another thing putting a plan together to be able to deal with it. Yeah, you're right there. You know, Gary's got a great team there. He's got them playing really well. They've, you know, in some great form. You know, I think we've split the points, the 3 games that we played. So this is a big game for the boys. You know, we're licking our wounds from the last time we played. The boys are really up for this game and looking forward to the challenge. Obviously, it's playoff footy, knockout footy. Motivation is never an issue at this time of year, but a win today does make your route, you know, to promotion potentially a lot easier. Yeah, you're right there. You know, it's a totally different ball game, playoffs. But the boys understand the occasion. They understand what's required, and you know, we just need to put what we've been practicing over the last 3 weeks out in the field, and you know, let the rest take care of itself. And the atmosphere in this place, it should be rocking come kick-off. It must be a real bonus for you guys having earned the right to be at home today. Yeah, you're right there. You know, the home ground advantage here at Cougar Park is great. The fans really get behind us, the town gets behind us, and the boys really feel the energy coming from the crowd.
So you know, we've got to harness that and make sure we use that energy in the right way.
Well, best of luck today, mate.
No worries, thank you.
Gary, thank you for joining us. You've obviously had a little bit of time off leading into this one. How have you managed to use that time, an opportunity to get a few bodies back up to scratch and a few things ironed out?
Yeah, we've used it well. Obviously, last week's win against Hunslet was massive, and we had a week off after we beat Keighley at home. So yeah, I think we've managed to get a couple of bumps and bruises back, so we're fully fit now. Just Martin Ridyard out, but it's been a useful couple of weeks for us. Yeah, we're happy where the things have gone.
Obviously, a massive opportunity today to take a big step towards potentially promotion, but definitely that playoff final. I can't imagine it's been difficult getting your team up for this one.
No, I think there's plenty of rivalry between ourselves and Keighley this year. We played them 3 times as with the Luke fixtures and stuff, and it's all square, and they've won one, we've won, and we've drawn one. So I think we're coming here confident. We spirits are really high in the camp. We've gone on an unbeaten run now for a number of games, and we're feeling pretty confident. This is a massive challenge here. Keighley's never an easy game, and I'm sure they'll be smarting from the last game we played against them. So I think it promises to be a really exciting game.
How much can you take from those 3 games in the regular season? Are there bits you can kind of learn from it, or is this a completely different kettle of fish with it being a knockout game? Well,
playoff football is completely different, but yeah, obviously we have learnt things about Keighley, and I'm sure Jake will have learnt things about Rochdale as well. So I think they'll probably cancel each other out. We're not going to change anything. We've played our style of rugby all season, and it's been successful for us. So I don't think there's any need to change things. We just hopefully go high completion rate, error free, keep our discipline really, really good, and take chances when they come along. And that's been the theme all season for Rochdale. And the biggest thing for me is I always say to my lads, let's enjoy it. Let's play with a smile on our face.
You mentioned things like error free rugby completion rate. It's dry at the moment. You are going to have a loud kind of home crowd on your backs here. How important is it going to be that your side kind of keep their composure and don't get lost in the occasion of a playoff?
Yeah, massive. But that's true for any game. I think when you like I said, our focus hasn't changed. We're going into this game the same as if we did on round 1, if I'm honest. But with that little bit of jeopardy, and because it's playoff football, so we've got to be confident, but we've also got to be composed. And like you said, it will be noisy, it will be loud, and we've just got to make sure discipline's good. We've got a good group. They are pretty good, and we're well led by Dwayne Straffer and Greg McNally at the back. Two fantastic players who've had great careers, but they've also got that level of experience and calm everybody down when they need to do. So, as I said, we're really looking forward to it. It's going to be a challenge, we know that, but we do like a challenge.
Well, best of luck today, mate.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Nice
Thank
one.
you.
So there's the 2 men looking to take their teams into battle this afternoon. We're not quite in knockout territory, but I tell you what, there is a real tension in the atmosphere around us. A fantastic crowd building up. Let's go through the team sheets, starting off with the home side, the Keighley Cougars, and they start with Oscar Thomas at full back. Billy Walkley, Adam Ryder, Ellis Robson and Junior Sow in the back line, with Ben Dean and Jack Miller in the halves. A front row of William Mayer, Kyle Keswick and Mitchell Ravel, and behind them in the second row, Joshua Lynham and Lachlan Lansky, with Daniel Parker locking in the pack. Coming off the interchange bench for the Cougars, George Flanagan, Aaron Brown, Mark Ione and Bradley England will provide the reinforcements off the bench. Rochdale come into this, of course, off the back of that elimination final win last week. Full of confidence, and why wouldn't they be? They start off all the experience in the world in that back line, with Greg McNally at fullback, Missy Tulapapa, bit of a veteran of the League One playoffs, Jack Derbyshire, Miles Dalton Harrop and Luke Forber complete the back line, with Mackenzie Harmon and Lewis Else in the halves. It's a front row of Luke Nelms, Aidan Rodden and Dean Meadows, with Ben Forster and Dre Strawer in the second row, and Emerson Whittle locking in the pack for Rochdale. And off the interchange bench for them, Thomas Rashford, Dean Roberts, Jordan Andrade and Benjamin Killen complete the 17. So there's the teams. Hendo, you mentioned that game on the 1st of September. They played each other 3 times, of course. They both won, and a draw in there as well, so it is split exactly down the middle. But will any of that be kind of coming in psychologically to either of these teams, do you think?
I'm not too sure. I mean, I think both teams will be focusing on themselves, really going into this game and making sure that they can deliver their best performance of the season to date. But I do feel Rochdale's form at the back end of the season suggests that they've built some momentum coming into this playoff competition. They've obviously started the campaign really well with that win over Hunza to get themselves to the semi-final stage. And obviously having that result, that performance here at Keighley against the Cougars and getting a decent win there certainly will bode well for them in terms of their confidence level. So, yeah, like you said, it's going to be a cracking contest. I think we've got some fantastic matchups, over the field. You've spoken to the two teams there, Lewis, and I'm really looking forward. Junior Sau, on the Cougars, fantastic backfield carrier, fantastic finisher. You look at Missy Talipapa, the other old boy on the other side for the Hornets, again will get his set starting really well out of backfield, and again another high quality finisher, the ex-Samoan international. So there's some good other battles out there too, and you look at obviously Jack Miller, who was the previous League One Player of the Year in 2022. He'll be looking to direct proceedings this afternoon here at Cougar Park. But again, Greg McNally, we know him also well over the years as well. He was going to be pivotal for the Rochdale Hornets out the back there at fullback. So, I think both teams, both some quality players, both teams are quality teams, and we're looking forward to a cracking contest here this afternoon.
There's an interesting dynamic coming into this as well. We mentioned the running that these two teams have had, and they both had that kind of 2 weeks off, if you like, in the middle where they didn't have a game. Rochdale then had that fantastic win against Hunslet last weekend, so they come into this kind of game sharp and fresh. Yep. Is there a danger from a Cougars perspective with it being, almost 3 weeks since they've played a game in anger, that maybe they're just coming into this a little bit kind of undercooked?
Yeah, potentially, and again, it's such an interesting topic of conversation that you bring up there, Lewis. So many times you'll see this scenario where certain teams will earn the right to have a week off, so to speak. And some coaches will say if they get the result, they go, well, it was great that we had the week off because we were able to freshen up the troops, get over those niggles and be at sort of almost full strength for the game. We had lots of energy behind us. But if they lose, they sort of go, well, we had the week off, it didn't help us. We didn't have that game readiness that you just alluded to there. And on the same on the flip side, the other team will be saying, well, if they win, well, it's because we were able to build some momentum and keep continuity by playing week by week. But if they lose, they'll say that maybe it was one game too far for us. So either way, I don't think you can win either way. The bottom line is it's about your preparation and it's about getting the mindset right, to deliver a performance, because from experience in playoff games, the intensity raises, the margin for error. You can't hide from the fact that if you make mistakes in this time of the competition, you will be punished because you're playing the quality of team that you are.
Well, the weather is closing in. There's a real wind whipping around this stadium, setting the backdrop of the North Yorkshire Hills. It's been dry leading up to this. I think there may just start to be a little bit of rain starting to come down, so that will add another aspect, especially for the back threes, and bring the kicking game into it. And both coaches alluded to it, in these kind of games when the tension's high, that completion rate, that error rate, that penalty count, those things are going to be so important.
Absolutely key. Again, when it comes to any game really, but especially in playoff games, you have to get through your sets. Your ball control has got to be good. Your kicking game has got to be on point. You've got to turn the ball over in the right areas of the field. And then there you can really front-load your energy defensively, and hopefully force mistakes and earn field position, because, it's so critical. You're not going to get many opportunities in big games to score points, and you have to be clinical when you get those opportunities, but equally you have to earn the field position, and that is by running hard and direct with plenty of push support, getting off the back of a good kicking game with a good kick chase, and then really trying to pin the teams back in those corners and front-load your energy with line speed and defensive effort-based stuff. So, yeah, it's going to be a real good battle today. I'm really looking forward to it.
I'll tell you what, I'm not impressed with the Cougars dancing.
Well, it's always a unique rugby league experience coming to Cougar Park. We've got a 90s disco blaring around us, a really strong crowd. Can barely hear ourselves think Hendo, but that will come into play because this crowd will get right behind the Cougars, and Rochdale are going to have a job to do, just kind of drowning that out a bit, keeping their minds quiet and playing through their game plan.
Well, listen, home team advantage does help because you've got the crowd behind you, and we're at a traditional rugby league stadium here this afternoon where they're right on top of you. The fans are right on top of you. They're right there. You can feel the energy when you're out there playing. They're there, and it can be quite an intimidating place as well. can Cougar Park, you know, when the fans are really behind their team. So yeah, you're right, it will certainly help the Cougars and it will certainly challenge the Rochdale Hornets, but again, if they've done their prep right, they don't get themselves drawn into that, just focus on doing their jobs and doing it to the best of their ability and earn the right to play, you know, the brand of rugby league they want to play and score points. But equally, you know, the Cougars will have the same sort of mindset, I believe. I mean, when you look at the competition, both teams are scoring on average just under 35 points a game. So that tells me they like to play with the ball. They'll like to chance their arm. They'll promote it. They'll move the point of attack. You know, but defensively, the Cougars just slightly have the edge on them at the moment. They concede just on average 18 points a game, and where the Hornets are conceding just under 20 points.
Here we go. Both teams come out to a wall of noise here at Cougar Park. A massive 80 minutes of Betfred League One action all the way, live and exclusive here on the Sportsman. It's what we wait all year for. There is nothing quite like the playoffs. And in a few hours' time, we're going to know which one of these teams marches on to the playoff final and which one will have to pick themselves up and do it all over again. As we mentioned, they've played each other 3 times, they've both won 1, and we've had a draw. Could you imagine if we get that again? We love the drama here on the Sportsman, we're well up for golden points. But a lot of rugby to be played before we get to that point and start talking about things like that. It's going to be Rochdale to get us underway in their traditional blue shirts with red and white hoops. Keighley in their white shirts, green V and red shorts. Rochdale into the back of that win against Huntler to carry that form into this game. So here we go, Betfred League One playoffs underway and in earnest here in the Sportsman. It's going to be Keighley who get first taste of the football, and Miller brings it in cleanly. And it's a good kick chase from the Rochdale Hornets as they look to pin the home side in deep inside their own territory. As you mentioned, Hendo, though, Keighley have got those units that can carry them out of backfield right across the park.
Yeah, they certainly do, but it was a wonderful kick-off there from the Rochdale Hornets. Jack Miller having to catch the ball inside his own in-goal, and it's really given some advantage to Rochdale in terms of field position early doors. It's a short pitch anyway, Lewis. It's only about 88 metres long, so every metre valuable.
Rochdale will be very encouraged, you would think, by this first defensive set as they look to keep Keighley pinned into their own half, and that is where the kick will come from as we come to the last tackle. So it's Miller who's going to put the ball into the air. It's a low one taken by McNally safely, and now it's Keighley's turn to try and pin Rochdale into their own real estate. McNally will back up at acting half, and you would imagine that in similar fashion to what Keighley have just done, Rochdale will look to keep this set pretty central, keep it amongst the tram lines and just get through these early tackles and work their way into the game as Missy Tulapapa, as we mentioned, had that fabulous playoff campaign with Doncaster last season, having another go again and coming straight up through the middle is Aidan Rodden for Rochdale, making some really good metres straight up the centre of the park. So perhaps an early attacking opportunity for the Hornets as Elts brings us out to the left. And Rochdale shaping up to the right-hand side, which is where they come, and the kick comes through, but dealt with well. But again, Keighley starting this set from deep inside their own half.
Yep, it was a great positional piece of play there from Oscar Thomas. He read the grubber kick well, but again, a highlight of Missy Tulapapa at the start of the call about he'll get the sets rolling for the Rochdale Hornets, and it was his quick play the ball off his yardage carry, allowed the hooker Rhoda to get out, get him behind the ruck area, make the initial line break.
So here's the line break again. It's Rodden who just jumps out from dummy half and finds some valuable metres up the middle. Keighley now looking to return the favour on the left-hand side through Oscar Thomas, who earns his side a penalty for his troubles. So, first time today, the referee's put a whistle into his mouth for a penalty, just for a little swinging arm, I think. So Keighley perhaps with an opportunity here to play themselves into some good field position. They're going to start this set probably about 25 metres away from the Rochdale line. Ellis Robson will come up the middle.
with Will Mayer, and he's brought down on the 20. Keswick has options left and right, comes to the left but checks his run and then comes back inside. Mitch Ravel there, just trying to punch his way through, stops a couple of metres short. Keswick brings us out. Miller just looking to step his way through, but he's brought down metres away. Now they'll come out to this left-hand side, but they've got numbers stacked, and they could be in here. I'm not sure if he scored. The referee's going to have a check. I think they've just forced it over, and it's Lachlan Lansky who gets the first try of the game. Just for a second, they look like Rochdale has done enough in the rescue effort to hold them up. For 4 points on the board early for Keighley.
Yep, fantastic try there from the Keighley Cougars. The back rower, Lachlan Lansky, runs a great outline that gets in between bodies and has enough strength to power over near the line. But it all come off the back of ill discipline from the Rochdale Hornets. It was front rower Luke Nelms that gave away the high tackle. But we see here now the replay. Lansky there, great line, gets in between bodies and shows great strength to put the ball down.
So Keighley strike first. You mentioned the try scoring antics of these two teams before the game, Endo. It always felt like this had and has the potential to be a high-scoring affair. And we have our first try of the afternoon within the first 5 minutes. Yeah. Jack Miller looks to convert. It's not dead central, but it is probably about 13 yards in from the touchline, so one you would expect a kicker of his pedigree to convert. Steps up, strikes it well, ball holds up in the wind, but it sails over the crossbar, and it's a perfect start for the Keighley Cougars after being put onto the pump as well. That penalty just allowing them to get some field position, and their first look at the Rochdale line, and they can play.
Yeah, absolutely, Lewis. And we spoke about the discipline with the ball and how ball control was going to be important today. Well, it's equally the same defensively by giving away penalties away. And it was Luke Nelms, the front rower, that gives away a lazy arm high shot that gave Keighley the field position, the opportunity, and it was a lovely attacking play back to this short side, the left-hand side, with Lachlan Lansky crashing over to open the scoring.
There was another deep kick-off. Mitch Ravel with the return, and here's Junior Sal, all that Super League experience, of course, with the Salford Red Devils. Time playing rugby union in America as well recently, but back in the English Rugby League system with Keighley and loving his time in Betfred League One, it would seem. Keighley doing a good job in this set of marching themselves downfield as they enter Rochdale territory. Keswick, the options is the right-hand side, and that's where he goes to Miller. Now they look to apply some width, but it's just Thomas dropping it back off the inside. Some extra metres on offer there, which Keighley gratefully snap up, and now Keswick brings us out to the left, and the kick will come in. It's a high one again, holding up in the breeze. Tulipapa underneath it, he does really well, and he'll get a penalty for the shot in the air. So a lot of good work in that set from Keighley, just undone by just a bit of carelessness really at the end there.
Yeah, he just had to steady up on the kick chase, set it Lachlan Lansky. It was a wonderful set from the Keighley Cougars. They made great metres going forward. Great kick there from the young halfback, Ben Dean. Puts it up nice, plenty of hang time on it. The kick chase sprinted through, which was great. But once Tulipapa caught it, he just had to steady up his run and then make the contact, and that would have been a great outcome to the end of set for the Keighley Cougars. But as a result, it now means Rochdale start their attacking play just on the halfway line now.
So they come up over halfway. Aidan Rodden with dummy half, options on both sides. They keep it out to the left, and now they look to apply some width with Else. McNally coming into the line, and they could be away on the left-hand side. Keighley's defence doing really well to cover across. But a great bit of field position this for Rochdale to work from. Else just checking his run, running out of options a little bit, so he'll take the tackle 8 metres away. Shaping up to the right. That's where they come out to Luke Nelms, just trying to barrel his way through the Keighley line, but they stand firm on this occasion. Rodden again, a dummy half, brings them out to the right-hand side. The kick is stabbed through, but it's got a bit too much on it. And it'll be a 20-metre tap. Junior South straight away looking to get the game back rolling and return this with interest as we just see the break. It's a really nicely timed pass from McNally.
Yeah, it was. It was a great line as well from Miles Harrop, the left centre. Great in line to make the initial line break, but equally good scramble defence from the Cougars to get back there and stop it.
So both teams trading blows early on. Only Keighley that have managed to get themselves on the scoreboard so far. As Will Mayer looking for a quick play of the ball, doesn't quite get it, but Keswick is there acting half, and this is Robson, and Lasky's away on the left, but we're going to come back for a forward pass. Maybe just half a yard too keen there. Keighley, the move was nice. It was a really well-worked bit of play down the short side, but not quite in sync with each other.
Yeah, you can just see here.
See on the replay, it's Robson, isn't it? He's just slightly overrun his man.
Yeah, and I think it came at Ben doing the halfback, didn't quite get a good clean catch on it. He sort of hit the chest, it bobbled a little bit, and that's just what made the timing of the run from Robson just overstep him a little bit. I think if he got a clean early catch on it, you know what I mean, he's probably been able to execute that short pass to Robson, but because of the poor catch, it just meant Robson had overrun him slightly, and unfortunately for the Cougars, they blow an opportunity down that left side.
So Ben Forster carrying strong up to halfway, but the ball's come out, and it's a knock-on. Keighley celebrate that one as if they've scored. A real psychological blow, probably the first real error of the game in terms of a handling error 10 minutes in. And it was a really strong carry from Forster, but the ball almost rotates against the ground as he hits the floor, and he can't keep hold of it. And it'll be a scrum dead centre on halfway for the Cougars, playing with the slope in this first half. And we'll get back underway and we'll come down to his left-hand side again with Robson. Strong carry from him, and he gets free for a quick play of the ball, and again Keswick looks to the short side but then cuts back in. Will Mayer is the next cab off the rank, bringing it up towards the 20. Now they come out to the right. Miller was lurking in backfield, but they keep it in the forwards for now, 12 metres away from the Rochdale try line. Keighley sniffing out a second consecutive score. It's a really nice ball from Miller. It's a really nicely worked try. Keighley go back to back, and Endo, what a lovely little drop-off ball. But Josh Lynham goes over.
Yeah, fantastic again. But once again, we speak about it. It's come off discipline. This time, discipline with the ball. It's an error from Foster, as you highlighted, Lewis, that gives Keighley the field position and the opportunity. And it's a wonderful short-side attacking play. Jack Miller plays nice and straight and direct, so he fixes the defender in front of him. And Lynham sees that the defender outside him jumps the line, and that's why he then, if you see his line of run, he bounces a late outline on the outside shoulder of the defender in front of him, and he just goes in almost untouched. So again, for me, great tempo run from Jack Miller, playing nice and direct. Josh Lynham, great awareness to bounce that late outline into space as he sees that the Rochdale defender on the outside tries to come up and in to kill the man out the back. And well, good decision from Miller to play short to Lynham there, and he goes through to extend the Cougars' lead further to 10 points to 0.
Well, a lightning start from the Cougars, and Joe Webster will be very, very happy that the two times this team have had a real look at the Rochdale line on both occasions have been able to go through. And there was a bit of a warning shot just a couple of minutes before as well with the forward pass. They would have been away if they'd have got that right as well. So anonymous start with the ball from the Cougars' perspective. The kick is missed, so it's a stay. 10 points to 0. Rochdale already with work to do in this Betfred League One Semi-Final. They're almost a little bit shell-shocked at this point because, by and large, apart from that error, Rochdale have done some good things themselves with the ball but not been able to turn it into points. And then on two occasions, as we say, that Keighley have put them under pressure. They've come away with points, and they're on the breakaway here again. Still going up that right-hand side. McNally's there eventually to drag Adam Ryder down, but huge meters made by the Keighley centre. So another opportunity. Junior Sow has got his hand up on this near side. He's telling them to spread the game, trying to apply some width to keep it central for now. 10 metres away. Keswick at dummy half. Now they come out to the left-hand side. Oscar Thomas stabs a kick through, which comes off a Rochdale foot. Was it played at? Well, the referee keeping the tackle count going. As Parker now looking to break through, and this is the last. Now we come out to the left-hand side. Thomas is in back plays, but Junior Sow with him. Puts the ball over the top, and Tulipapa there to just shepherd Junior Sow into touch. Thomas maybe just caught in two minds about what to do there.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Lewis. I think he was thinking, whether do I put the kick in or do I not? But this is the line break here. Adam Ryder, outstanding. Great left-hand fend on Dwayne Straffer. Makes initial line break, gets around McNally as well. And it's a shame he couldn't find a pass on the outside there to the support player, but great line break. And then here we see the outcome to end the set as Oscar Thomas elects to try and run the football in the last play and finds Sow, but he gets bundled into touch. But again, not the worst place to turn the ball over for the Cougars after scoring points.
So Tulipapa with the first carry of the set. That ball's come loose as well, but this time illegally stripped by the Keighley Cougars. So a much-needed penalty from a Rochdale perspective. An opportunity for them to get themselves out of their half for what feels like the first time in a few minutes in this game. It's a decent kick, so we are up over halfway. Rochdale will start this set about halfway inside the Keighley half.
This will be their first good ball set. This is their first good ball attacking set here, Rochdale. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of questions they'll ask of this Keighley Cougars defensive line.
So Rochdale with numbers on both sides, but they'll come out to the right, and Nelms will look to straighten up. This is McNally. He brings it back on the inside to Jack Derbyshire, who's cut down about 8 metres short. Now they come out to the left. It's an error, but it's gone backwards. So they'll keep going, and Els puts a chip kick over the top, but was never really on that play. Keighley deal with it relatively routinely, and that first good ball play set that you've mentioned goes to waste, Endo.
Yeah, it does. A little bit disappointing there from Rochdale's perspective. You know, it was a great opportunity for them to build some pressure, and they come up with a bit of a mistake, and then off the back of that, they try and force a kick play that never really was on, wasn't well executed from Els, and they failed to then build pressure on that Cougars line. But we see a little bit of an incident now, I think it is.
Mackenzie Harmon, who's down, receiving a little bit of treatment. I think he just gets a little bit of a stray hand.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I think
it's a strong carry from Junior Sow.
Strong carry, and he's obviously just been winded, I think, by the looks of things.
So just taking a breather. Looks like he'll be all right to carry on. There's the carry again from Sow. Yeah, just a strong carry, isn't it, from the Cougars centre. Playing on the wing this afternoon, Junior Sow, after playing pretty much all of his career in the centres. But we're back underway. This is Ellis Robson. Keighley already up to the halfway mark. So Keswick in at dummy half. Brings us out to the right-hand side to Miller. Miller down to Ryder. Ryder's stopped for just a couple of metres gain. Miller will put the kick up into the air. It's spiralling one, but Greg McNally, calm and collected underneath it, brings it in cleanly. It's not easy conditions for the fullbacks and wingers today under these kicks. Plenty of wind, as we've mentioned, and a bit of rain in the air as well. I'm sure that ball will have a nice layer of grease on it as the afternoon progresses. This is Tulipapa carrying from deep. Stops short of the 40-metre mark and just about gets a acceptable play the ball under his feet, and then Aidan Rodden carries from dummy half, so he'll play the ball just short of the halfway line, and short ball to Nelms, who brings it into Keighley territory. 4 tacklers in there to bring down the Rochdale prop forward. This is the last, so kicking options left and right, but they come out to the right-hand side to Harlan, who puts a really tall one up in the air for Junior Sow to deal with, which he does. He's met by Tulipapa. Two big outside backs going toe-to-toe. That's going to be a really good battle, isn't it, throughout the afternoon,
Absolutely. The two old stages there, Talapapa and Junior Sao, both with a wealth of experience at the top level and at this championship and League One level as well. But it's a great battle between those two.
So Oscar Thomas stopped just short of the 20, plays the ball, and important set this, you feel, from a Rochdale perspective, just needing to keep Keighley in their own territory as Billy Walkley now plays the ball, and Keswick brings it out to Miller, who boot the ball, and it's closed down. The bounce is going to be telling. I think it's going to bounce all the way out.
Wow.
So we're going to come back, but there were hearts in mouths for a second then from a Keighley perspective.
Absolutely. Well, again, I'm surprised that they didn't have a secondary option there on their kick setup. It was like Miller, who was deep on his own. Yeah.
Boots the ball, and
great charge down there from the
Ben Forster, who managed to get to it and get the charge down, but if anything, he probably got to it too much because it just bounced straight into him and pinged out, and it'll be a goal, 20-metre tap for the Cougars. But Rochdale will be pleased to just be spending some time at this end of the field. With that spell about 5 minutes in where Keighley were well on top and got a couple of tries for it as Keswick brings us out to the left-hand side. And again, looking to put the ball through the hands on the short side. It's a tactic we've seen Keighley do a couple of times already in this game. That edge with Robson and Sal, definitely where they're looking to try and make some progress and put Rochdale under some pressure. So Keswick, on this occasion, brings us to the right.
It's Aaron Brown that's off the bench now. Lewis, he'll play a bit of a ball-playing role through that middle third.
20 metres out, Keswick brings us to the right-hand side to Miller, out to Oscar Thomas, who's come into the line, and he looks out wide for Billy Walkley, who comes in off his edge just to keep himself safe. Thomas at acting half out to Miller. Miller with a cross-field kick. It's a bit of a low one, but Junior Sal does really well. And Robson looking to burrow his way over. The Rochdale defence does enough. But Junior Sal, fantastic work out on this left-hand side to get into the air, knock the ball down to Robson, and very, very nearly Keighley in for their third. Brilliant athleticism from Sal, rolling back the years to get up for that one, and perfectly knocked back to Robson. Rochdale's defence does enough to just cling on.
Yeah, it was a great kick from Jack Miller. It was pinpoint.
Oh, and a penalty.
Oh, no. That's a coach
pressure
killer.
reliever. Yeah, Joe Webster won't be happy with that one. Rain is teeming down here now at Cougar Park.
Well, it's probably something he's going to have to address at half-time. I think it's 3 occasions now this afternoon already in this first half where the Cougars have given away a yardage penalty and relieved that pressure, as you highlighted before there, Lewis. So it's an area they're going to have to fix up.
So Dean Meadows carries for Rochdale rather than a dummy half. They'll come out to the left-hand side where Strover's there to make the carry. He brings it up to the 40. Now they come out to the left again. Els shapes to go one way, then goes the other. Fine McNally, and again they could be in on this left-hand side. Luke Forber, who's had some real joy over on that left edge on a couple of occasions. The move does break down. We've got a player down in backfield as well, which I believe is Lewis Els. Just catches a slightly late shot, perhaps. I'm not sure there was a huge amount in it. Forber with the attempted offload over the top of his head.
Well, again, it was wonderful scramble defence from the Cougars. And one thing that Rochdale have done this afternoon is they've made some line breaks. And one thing from the Cougars' perspective is they're getting bodies back behind the ball. They're scrambling.
Here it is
again.
again. There's the shot. It's a little bit late, perhaps slightly high. I don't think there's a huge amount in it. I think we are going to have a penalty for it. So Rochdale will have an opportunity to put Keighley under some pressure.
Well, this is a big opportunity for the Hornets, isn't it? If they can build some pressure here, they've not enjoyed, have they, too much field position against the Cougars this afternoon. I think they've had one good ball set to date, and they didn't really execute that very well.
Here's the incident again. Maybe just rides high a little bit, doesn't he? This is a concern from a Rochdale perspective because Lewis Els, who's down injured, and a huge amount of their attacking direction and speed comes from how he injects himself into the line, and this doesn't look good. They're supporting his arm. It doesn't look like he's going to be continuing. And that could be a real key moment in this game from a Rochdale perspective, losing their pilot almost, the man that's driving them around the field. So Thomas Ratchford is going to come on in his place. Lewis Else is heading straight for the changing rooms. I'd be very, very surprised if we see him again this afternoon. But we are back underway.
It's good defensive from the Cougars.
Yeah, 3 players in the tackle looking to slow it down. This is Whittle coming up to the line, and they'll just keep it in hand. Stop 10 metres out. Tackles still in their pocket for Rochdale to try and do something with, and they'll come over to the left-hand side where Strauver's stopped a couple of metres short. Gets a reasonably quick play. They look to the right-hand side again. Unable to keep it clean, and the chance goes begging. And again, Keighley wasting no time getting us back underway. So Ellis Robson straight away with the tap as we see it again.
Yeah.
Meadows, who's almost through.
Well, I think I was going to say, Lewis, that was on. If he catches that ball, he scores. You know, that was smart decision from the hooker, Aidan Roden, to play short to him. I think from Meadows' perspective, I think he just thought he was going to be a decoy. He didn't have his hands up ready to catch the ball. And real unfortunate there for the Rochdale Hornets. They could have been on the score sheet, but it's certainly a warning shot there for the Keighley Cougars.
George Flanagan onto the field for Keighley. Plenty of experience there as well. Real asset for the Cougars. We'll just roll these players on and have that kind of experience and know-how in these situations.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Lewis. You look at that bench for the Cougars there. George Flanagan, Mark Ioane, Aaron Brown and Brad England. All very much high-quality players, all championship-level players as well. So plenty of experience and quality off the bench this afternoon for the Cougars.
So Ryder plays the ball on the 10-metre line. Miller puts boot to ball again. It's Robson and Sal trying to get up for it. And Dean will put a kick over the top, and this could work. The bounce just not quite kind enough. But they will get a repeat set. Greg McNally taking no risks, just bunts it into the crowd, so it will be a goal line dropout and another opportunity as we see Alex Robson on that occasion getting up to it and deemed the chip kick over the top, and it just an awkward bounce as rugby league ball said to do.
Yeah, once again it's Miller with that crossfield kick. He's trying to target Robson and Sow to out-jump and out-compete the opposition. They've done it on a couple of occasions. They've got some tap-backs, and it was I guess off the cuff inventive play from Dean to put the little chip over the top, and he almost gets there, and McNally has to
huge hit.
Oh wow, what about that, Lewis? That was a great shot.
Well, the carry was off the back fence. I think it was Jordan Andrade fresh off the bench in there.
Oh, welcome to the semi-final, Jordan Andrade.
Well, that has maybe just stepped the intensity up from a Rochdale perspective, because his teammates will respond to that. And the line speed already just looks slightly quicker. Flanagan brings us out to the right. Here's Thomas coming up to the line. He'll drop it back off on the inside to Will Mayer, who stopped on the 20-metre mark. So he'll play the ball to Flanagan. And again, Keighley just keeping it central. Aaron Brown, as you mentioned, off the bench. He'll bring it up to the 10-metre mark. Flanagan with options on both sides. They'll come to the right on this occasion to Miller. Miller will put a dainty little kick through, and he'll think it'll be forcing another repeat set. Really good game management from Jack Miller and the Keighley Cougars, just keeping Rochdale pinned inside their own half and keeping them defending.
Absolutely. Well, it was a well-weighted kick, smart kick from Jack Miller. He was the former Betfred League One Player of the Year in 2022. And he goes to the line, gets it between the body, threads the needle, and chases his own kick up as well to force the goal line dropout. Big play that from Miller. And again, the Cougars not only building pressure, but they're sustaining pressure on this Rochdale line.
Here we go again, Andrade hunting again for that big shot. On this occasion, can't quite get out to them. Mitch Ravel on both occasions, taking that ball off the back fence from the goal line dropout. So Flanagan keeping the ball in hand. shooting out from dummy half and making 5 or 6 metres for it. So Aaron Brown will step into acting half. And again, they'll come to the right to Miller. Miller will bring it up to the line and then drop it back inside to Ryder. Ryder shrugging off a tackle or two, eventually brought down 20 metres away. Not a huge amount of progress made on that play, so they'll come out to the left-hand side with Brown again, who gets the offload away to Flanagan. And another big shot coming in on Mitch Ravel. He's wearing a few this afternoon.
It's Foster on that occasion.
But Keighley still going. Another clever kick from Miller.
He's given it.
And he's given the try. Just a second there, we were waiting to see what the decision was going to be, but Ryder scored. It's a really clever kick again from Miller. And Adam Ryder sliding through, and Keighley have their third try of the afternoon.
Yep. Well, that's what pressure does. When you build pressure, you sustain pressure, eventually the dam will burst, and that's what happened there for the Hornets. That's their third set, defending on their goal line, and it's unlocked by the magic of Jack Miller. It's again a lovely little way to kick him behind the line. Ryder chases it, it comes off the Rochdale hand, and it's Miller that pounces and scores. And unfortunately, unfortunately there for Miles Harrop, the centre, he just couldn't knock it dead. Great kick again. We see Miller in behind the line. Kick chase there from Ryder. Harrop gets there, but he just can't ground it and almost knocks it back. But it stays in the field of play. Miller keeps competing on his kick, and that's what every good halfback should be doing. Don't just stand there and admire your kick. Get on the kick chase. He does that, and that's why he scores the try, Lewis, because if he didn't kick chase, he wouldn't have scored those points. So fantastic effort from Jack Miller. Once again,
I'd have to say, Ben Fowler, the referee this afternoon, right on the spot to give that from our vantage point. It was difficult to see where the try had come from, but Miller following the ball up, as all good halfbacks do, and coming up the rewards, and then finding 2 more points with the boot as well. 28 minutes played here at Cougar Park, and it's Keighley in a really strong position, 16 points to 0 up. See it again. Miller alive, Johnny on the spot there to just jump on the ball. Ben Fowler awards the try. And it's interesting when you look to those 2 sets back to back, both of them coming from goal line dropouts, almost identical with the way that they look to finish the set, and the kick on that occasion bearing fruit.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, you can well and truly see that the Cougars have got the ascendancy, and Mark Ioane off the bench now, another experienced campaigner. He'll add some punch and power in that middle third going forward. But I just like the way Keith have controlled performance this afternoon. I like the variety of the attack. They're taking short sides. You know, they're playing through the middle third through Parker and Brown. Like I said, the kicking game from Miller, I think, has been outstanding. You know, his kicks have been on the money, backed up by a good kick chase, and I just think they're doing their process a lot better than the Rochdale Hornets this afternoon.
Flanagan to Miller, who just drills that kick into touch about 12 metres away from the Rochdale line, and that's the kind of thing you can afford yourself, isn't it, when you're in this kind of position. It enables you to just manage the game, slow things down when you want to, force Rochdale to play out of parts of the field that they don't want to.
Agreed. And it just, again, it's a great set after points. They've rolled all the way down the field. You know, Rochdale now have to play the ball 10 metres off their own line, and by finding the line, it means they can get their markers set, their defensive line set, and can really now ramp up, you know, the defensive energy to restrict the Hornets coming forward. It's just important they don't give away that yardage penalty.
Not a big shot going in. Miles Harrop on that occasion, wearing that one. And Lewis Elts has just emerged from the changing rooms below us and walked back to the Rochdale dugout, but he still has his arm strapped up in a makeshift kind of sling, so looks like his afternoon is done. That's a really good kick into the corner. Just slightly, maybe 1 or 2 too many rotations on the ball, and Oscar Thomas can safely pick it up and return it for the 20-metre tap, but it just looked for a second as if that kick had turned Keighley around. So Flanagan. That's Sal, who's come off his wing looking for work, but he's lost the ball, but it's been stripped. And just for a split second, Rochdale thought there might have been a way there, but the reality is a Keighley penalty and another coach killer.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's probably been the difference between the 2 teams. I could argue that the Cougars, I think, given away 3 yardage penalties, but we see on the replay it's on Jordan Andrade in there. He's got hands on that. He's ripped it out, according to referee Ben Thaler. But that's probably been the difference. You know, you look at the Hornets, they've come up with a couple of errors in the wrong areas of the field when they're coming out of yardage. They've given away a couple of penalties around that halfway line and in their own end of the field, and it's just invited the Cougars to apply copious amounts of pressure on their goal line, and fortunately for the Cougars, they've turned that pressure into points.
Shots really are flying in defensively, both teams going for it, but it's Keighley on the front foot again. Brown loses the ball on that occasion, so Rochdale survive.
Good tackle there from, I think it was the hooker, wasn't it, Aidan Roden underneath the ball.
And another penalty. There's your fourth yardage penalty. You're talking about Hendo, and at some point you feel like Rochdale will make one of these pay.
Yeah, well, they've just... That's definitely got to be an area that Jake Webster focuses on at half-time, that we've got to sort out our yardage penalties, because we've got them in the right area of the field, but we're just letting them off the hook. And he's got a decent boot, hasn't he, the halfback? You know, he finds the line.
Yeah, Mackenzie Harmon has been marching his team up the field. Just going to take a break here. There's a rogue ball on the field in back play. It's a big 8 minutes, this, isn't it, from a Rochdale perspective, because it really feels like the game is already in the balance for them. If they could get themselves some points before half-time, you feel like they'd go in with some wind in their sails and be in this, but if Keighley find the next score, it's a long, long way back for the Hornets. They've already been here this season and won once, so they know that they've got it in them. Things just not quite going their way so far in this Betfred League One Semi-Final. So now they come out to the left-hand side, and again, Luke Ford is the man that they're looking for in space on that edge. Wasn't any space for him on that occasion to go into, so Harmon will bring it up to the line and look to try and step his way through. Now they come out to the right. McNally puts the ball up into the air. Junior Sal looking to get underneath it. It's come loose. It was Tully Papa underneath it from a Rochdale perspective, and we could have another try in our hands here. We do. The kick went up in the air. It was a bit of a messy one, but underneath it ultimately for Rochdale was Dean Roberts on the spot to touch down, and the Hornets have their first 4 points of the afternoon.
Absolutely. Well, you spoke about it there, Lewis, that if they can get some points before half-time, it may just bring them back into life and back into the contest. And it was Greg McNally who puts up the high kick to the corner. As we see it here now on the replay, McNally puts it up. It's a great kick in the right area of the field. Kick chase there from Derbyshire and from Talapapa. Junior Seau can't contain it, and Dean Roberts scores. I think he's been injured in the process, though, of scoring the
they've
try.
got 2 players down, Rochdale, which is a concern, having already lost Lewis Ellis. As we'll see it again.
He'll be disappointed
see
there.
how hard the rain's been coming down. Dean Roberts jumping on the ball and maybe just catching a finger in the eye in the process. I don't think there was anything in it, malicious or anything like that, but he's definitely copped one.
Well, it was just a goal-mouth scramble, wasn't it? You know, the ball's there. Ellis Robson's trying to come in to stop it, and it looks like it could be a knee in there from Robson. Accidental, obviously. He's trying to get there to get on the ball, a loose ball, but Roberts beats him to it. But Junior Seau will be bitterly disappointed with that. He was in a good position to take the ball, and unfortunately he doesn't. But there looks to be another Rochdale player there.
Yeah, there's 2 Rochdale players struggling here. The other one is Derbyshire, who's walking back to the line very gingerly. Meanwhile, Harmon will look to add 2 points, and he does. It's a crucial score for Rochdale. Derbyshire looking to just run whatever he's picked up off. He's still not looking particularly comfortable, but he's going to give it a go. And just a bit of a dead leg.
Yeah, he's not moving well there, is he? But that will be a concern for Rochdale, won't it? If he does come off as well, they've already lost the halfback in Lewis Ellis. If they lose him as well.
Well, Dean Roberts is back up as well and lining up to face this kickoff. So for the time being, Rochdale haven't lost any more players to injury, but almost definitely on purpose. Is that Derbyshire that they've kicked to? In fact, I think it was Mackenzie Harmon who ended up under the ball. It was. So Rochdale in the shadow of their own post again, but crucially with points on the board, and still plenty of time in this half for either side to find another score. But I feel like Rochdale will just feel a little bit more settled now, Endo.
Yeah, well, obviously getting those points before half-time just, for me, keeps them keeps them in the contest, doesn't it? You know, they haven't had a lot of opportunity in this first half, and that's credit to Keighley for the way that they've been, you know, going through their process. Their ball control's been good, their kicking game's been good, and they've really restricted the Rochdale's go forward as we see them kicking inside their own half again. But it's a high kick from
spiraling all over the place, that one. It's Oscar Thomas who's underneath it, and he can't bring it in cleanly, but goes backwards, says Ben Fayler. So Keighley survive. Lucky boy there, Thomas, but it is the Cougars in possession, so I'll just look to settle things down. Have just lost their way a little bit in the last 3 or 4 minutes since that penalty, and just looking to get themselves back in control of this one. Come out to the left-hand side again. Flanagan again opts for the short side. Robson was looking for Lansky. The ball's gone backwards, but the tackle count has been wiped for a Rochdale hand in the tackle, so Keighley will get a brand new set of 6. Andrade again with a big shot. He's really looked to impose himself physically since coming off the bench, the Jamaica international, and again he goes hunting. This time it's Mark Iani who's come on off the Keighley bench, and he's eventually wrestled to the ground, looking for a penalty perhaps, or the referee says nothing doing, so Keighley just inside Rochdale territory. Just feels since that score the temperature on this game's been turned up a notch, as it's another clean set of 6 for not being square to play the ball. So Flanagan will just keep it in hand. Thomas at acting half. He gives it to Brad England, another interchange rolling off the bench for the Cougars, and the crowd really getting on board in this game now as the rain continues to howl down here in North Yorkshire. And here's Mark Ioni all the way to the line, and he scores! All muscle, all power, a simple equation but very difficult to stop, and Mark Ioni is over for Keighley right before half-time.
What a try from the big bomber, Mark Ioane. And it was a great pass from Aaron Brown. We spoke about him, his contribution coming off the bench. He'll be a bit of a ball player through that middle third, and that's exactly what he done. It's Smith here going to the line, sorry, Brown going to the line, plays the short ball there to Mark Ioane, and it's a wonderful try, the big fella. He times his run, comes off the left foot, beats a couple of would-be tacklers, rushes aside McNally, and gets over and extends the lead further for the Keighley Cougars. But Aaron Brown, take a bow. Great decision, he saw, great way to pass, but also a fantastic line and carry from Mark Ioane, the big robber. What a try.
That change in direction, isn't it, that just catches Ben Killen out and makes the tackle all that bit harder. And it comes off the back of 2 set restarts, one of them obviously an accidental one from the tackle, the ball getting knocked forward. The second one, a bit of a coach killer really, not being square to play the ball, and you don't need to give Keighley too many of those opportunities.
No, I totally agree there, Lewis, and again it's that little bit of discipline from the Rochdale Hornets. It's probably cost them in this first half, and they've given away probably too many penalties, they've made too many errors, you know, in the wrong area of the field, which has given the Cougars the field position. So, and fair play to the Cougars, they've capitalised and they've posted points, so an opportunity to extend it further now as Miller lines up the kick.
Yeah, doesn't miss those, dead central, straight over the sticks, and Gary Fortson will feel like all the good work that his side has just done, getting themselves on the board, getting themselves back in the game, has been unravelled just by a little bit of lack of concentration or a little bit of lack of focus, but ultimately a lack of discipline. So it's a short kick-off as we get back underway, not long left in this half at all. Ball goes backwards and is mopped up by Keighley. Andrade again flying in, certainly making his presence felt. Keighley surely in this set will just look to run down the clock and get themselves into the sheds, into the dry for 10 minutes. And there is the hooter. So from a Keighley perspective, pretty much a perfect 40 minutes, certainly in terms of the scoreboard. They'll go into the break 22.6 up. And for Rochdale, really frustrating, you think, as they've just got themselves back into the game, as you said. And now they're going into the shed with a big deficit to overturn in the second half.
Yeah, look, it's going to be difficult, isn't it? Because the conditions are looking like they're worsening as we go on. The rain is coming down a lot heavier, which means the field's going to cut up a little bit more. Ball control is going to be really tricky now in these sort of tough conditions. So, yeah, it's going to be difficult, I feel, for Rochdale to be posting points in the second half. But you never know. You never know. They still have a chance. They're still in the contest. But at the moment, the Cougars are well in control.
Yeah, Cougar Park kind of positioned in a bit of a bowl in the hills as we look at the highlights. The weather coming down, but this is the first try of the afternoon.
Yep, Lachlan Lansky.
It's just all muscle, isn't it, from Lansky?
Yeah, it is. It's a great line from Lachlan Lansky. Again, he runs a great inline, and then the second try here we see very similar carbon copy. It's Josh Lynham on the right-hand side this time. He bounces a nice late outline and gets on the outside shoulder of the defender in front of him.
And there's that really clever kick from Miller.
Yep, Jack Miller again, fantastic. Little kick in behind. He had a couple of those previously that earned the repeat sets, and on this occasion he gets that grubber kick in behind the line. Ryder chases, and obviously Miles Harram couldn't quite deal with it, and Miller chasing his own kick, scores the try.
And this is where it looked like Rochdale had earned themselves a foothold in the game. Another kick not dealt with.
Yeah, it was a disappointing one there from Junior Sow. He was in a good position to catch that ball. But it's a great kick from Manelli. He puts it where he needs to, right on the try line. Talapapa competes for the ball, just slightly puts Sow off. But Sow's got to do better there. He should take that. He doesn't, and Rochdale pounce. But this late try, just before half-time, this is the try of the game for me. Aaron Brown goes to the line. Lovely way to pass. Short ball there to Mark Ioane, who gets his timing to perfection. The big fella times, comes on the burst, comes off the left foot, beats the would-be tackle of Benjamin Killen, and it gets brushed aside. Greg McNally to score a wonderful try to extend the lead further for the Keighley Cougars.
So 40 minutes in the books here at Cougar Park in this Betfred League One Semi-Final. Fantastic to have you with us here on the Sportsman. We're going to take a short break. Don't go away. Coming up next, the second half, 40 more minutes as someone looks to book their place in the playoff final. That is a remarkable finish.
Burke goes for the corner, and Leah Burke's there. And in Tamsin Renew, the pass from Harley Dodd.
And this could be the first goal of the game because London are going to get there and touch down. He's gone for the same ball, and it's going to work.
Beautiful.
They might score the winner. And North Wales have another.
Brings it up to the line, drops it off to Hazard, who reaches through. So here we go, 80 minutes, live and exclusive here on the Sportsman. Bringer comes flying in on Walmsley.
Here come York, flick pass, and the rover! What drama, what a finish.
The last, they've got the mismatch, but Robertson's going to go himself. Jack Roberts has his second of the game.
Flick pass to Collins, Butler will score.
He does pass Walmsley. Walmsley looking for the finish, and he's over in the corner. Ferreira could
he's got it. He's got his fourth.
That down. They've got in. Instant impact.
Free. He's still going. He's going to score. Wow.
The words, my strength is at its peak. You would not deny them that, would you? Let's go. Brilliant ball. Domian's on his way. Absolutely spectacular. Because Luhai's dancing now. Oh, he's found the gap. Puts it back on the inside. Paolo spins it away. Luhai bats it on. Brighton will finish. That is incredible. Flags flying of these two nations all around the stadium. Through the first line, and through the second, and through the third, and England on the try. Oh, eyes up Rugby League from Lingy Shah. Williams with a kick to the corner, here they go, Mickinson. He pops it over the top, Lafay's got the footwork, and Lafay's got the try.
Revenge is a dish best served cold.
photo shoot for the New England kit. What's your first thoughts on the new colours?
Yeah, it's really nice, mate. Hopefully I get to put it on at the end of this year, but like I say, first thoughts, colours really nice, and yeah, it should go well.
I love it. I think it's really good. You know, it's predominantly white, which I think for me it's that wall of white that is England, and then obviously the red and the blue on it. I think it's really, really nice, and the navy shorts as well. Big fan of those, so yeah, excited. Fingers crossed, hopefully get to wear it at the end of the year.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? It's really nice. I really like it. Well, every opportunity you get to sort of wear the badge and represent your country and represent all the people before it and all the present and future. So it's very, very nice to be able to do it, and a very humbling experience and something that I cherish and very look forward to these days. So yeah, it's very nice and very, very blessed to be able to don the kit for the first time.
Yeah, obviously you always want to be involved at the end of the season when it comes to the internationals, and you know, on the back of a good Tonga series last year, you know, getting a 3-0 win was great for us as a squad. So yeah, moving forward, obviously I'd love to be involved again and carry on from where we left off and try and do a similar job on Samoa at the end of the year.
Look, the more fixtures for England for me, the better. Such a proud moment, getting the opportunity to play for your country, but also, you know, for us in terms of building a brand as Team England for the women's game and getting fans behind us. I think it's a great opportunity to play more fixtures domestically so that the fans can come and get behind us, because I think one of the advantages in the women's game is there's loads of fans that just love women's rugby league, so they'll have favourites on each different team, Saints, York, Leeds, Wigan, and then they can come and watch England and watch the best players come together and support everyone. So yeah, England's a great chance to do that.
Yeah, it's really exciting, mate. Obviously think back to the World Cup 2 years ago. Got beat against them in the semi-final, so it'll be good to get another crack against them at the end of the year, and yeah, hopefully be a good series and we can get a win.
That is a remarkable finish.
Burke goes for the corner and Leah Burke's in. And it's Tamsin Renew. The pass from Holly Dodd.
And this could be the first goal of the game because London are going to get there and touch down. He's gone for the same ball and it's going to work.
Beautiful.
They might score the winner. And North Wales have another.
Brings it up to the line, drops it off to Hazard, who reaches through. Well, welcome back to our coverage of this Betfred League One Semi-Final between Keighley Cougars and the Rochdale Hornets. Just to update you on some of the events that have happened at half-time, we've had a kind of Ibiza-style Beatles classic medley, and a tray of cheesecakes have arrived at the commentary desk. There's nothing quite like Rugby League at Cougar Park.
The hospitality and generosity of the Cougars directors is certainly welcomed.
Well, we're having a great time, and so are the Keighley Cougars so far, because 40 minutes into this, they are well on top. This is the first try of the afternoon. Really smart work to get themselves over on this occasion. All that play up to the line, and it's Lachlan Lansky who gets the first 4 points.
Yeah, it was a great try from Lansky, and then it's almost a carbon copy play on the other side of the field for the second try. On this occasion, Jack Miller going deep into the line, and Josh Lynham bouncing a late out line to score the points. And then Jack Miller, whose kicking game has been exceptional this afternoon, he threads the needle behind the line. Miles Harram just couldn't quite deal with it. It was a great kick chase and pressure from Adam Ryder, forces a mistake, and Miller pounces on his kick to score. But then the Rochdale give themselves a glimmer of hope with this try through Dean Roberts, and it's Junior Sow who needs to deal with the high kick from Greg McNally. He fails to do so. It's obviously Talapapa and Derbyshire chasing on the kick. Sow should do better. but Dean Roberts does a great job to pounce on the loose ball and get Rochdale on the score sheet. But moments later, the big bopper, Mark Ioane, just says, hey, give me the ball, I'm going to score and extend the lead further. And it was a wonderful play. Aaron Brown, known for his ball-playing ability as a loose forward, lovely way to pass from him. Big Mark Ioane gets his timing to perfection, comes off the left foot, beats the tackle of Benjamin Killen, and then it brushes aside Greg Manelli to score a wonderful 4-pointer.
We've had an update from the changing rooms during the break as well. Lewis Ellis for the Rochdale Hornets is an issue with his shoulder. He's very unlikely to return for the second half, and we wait to see if Jack Derbyshire as well has been able to fully shake off that issue that he had just after Rochdale scored their first try, as the rain continues to howl down here in Keighley. Some hardy Rochdale fans on that away terrace, hoping to see an improvement from their side in the second half. Hendo, if you're in the Rochdale changing room at the moment, what are you saying? How do you go around rebuilding this game?
Oh, I mean, Gary Thorne's just probably going to have to chat to him about, ball control is going to be massive, and what he has to try and do is encourage his team and sort of sell to them that, listen, we will get a say in this game. At some stage in this half, we're going to get a purple patch, we're going to get some field position, we're going to get some opportunity, and we just have to be clinical when we do. But we have to make sure, for us to get that opportunity, our ball control has got to improve. We've got to get off the back of a good kicking game with a good kick chase, and we've got to sort out our discipline with the penalties. Too often in that first half, the Rochdale Hornets just invited Keighley into their half, onto their goal line to apply the pressure that they wanted to. So they need to turn that around and get some field position, because I think they only had a couple of good ball sets in that first half, but that's another positive that Gary can flip on the shoulder and fire away.
So here we go for the second half. Oscar Thomas gets us underway with a high spiralling kick. It's taken safely. And Rochdale with the early task of getting themselves out of their own territory. Jack Derbyshire is back out there with the rest of his Hornets teammates, so it looks like he has managed to shake off whatever issue was ailing him from that first half, but Rochdale with it all to do on the scoreboard here. And I'm sure the message will have been, simple and about completion rate and keeping the errors low, but equally there is almost a kind of need to get themselves back in this and get some early points on the board.
Yeah, and we see,
good big shot
carry.
goes in. It's Evan Roden again, jumping out from dummy half. We've seen him do that to great effect a few times in this game already. Now Andrade carries up over halfway.
It's not been a bad set from the Rochdale Hornets to start the second half. They're over the halfway. They're going to get an attacking kick in. It'll be a high kick from Mackenzie Harmon.
And he's well dealt with by Oscar Thomas, Scottish international, of course, for the London Broncos, Swinton Lions, Bradford Bulls. Loads of experience again, and then a penalty for Keighley. And exactly what Rochdale didn't want to do early on in this half is concede the penalty, which will allow Keighley to march themselves down the field. Did someone just offer you a pint, Hendo?
Yes, they offered me a beer. I said I can't have a beer.
We are
That's
right.
a first. That is a first in the commentary box being offered a beer
here at Cougar Park.
I can't believe it.
Oh, it's a shame we're driving, Hendo.
Yeah, it is.
So Robson will play the ball about 20 metres away, 25 metres perhaps, out, and now they'll bring it out to the right-hand side. That almost went wrong, but Brad England does a good job of just reeling the ball back in. So Keighley with options on the left and the right. The shape is stacked to the right-hand side, and that is the way they come with Mark Arney. Another strong carry from him, and has another go after shrugging off a few tackles. So George Flanagan in at dummy half, brings us to the short side. Miller brings us up to the line, and it's a crash ball for Josh Lynham to come onto, but I think we're going to come back here.
Yep. Has he judged that to be a forward pass?
That is the call by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like there was a knock-on in there. It was coming back onto the stick, so
it was a forward pass.
A forward pass. It's a very similar move, isn't it, to the one that they pulled off in the first half that sent Lynham over for the second try of the afternoon. on this occasion, just not quite getting the angles right. But Rochdale again looking up from the scrum and seeing the entire field laid out in front of them, so plenty
good line
mileage
speech
for them to cover, and Keighley come flying in.
So Brad England, was it, I think?
Already had some monster collisions in this game already. Keighley know that if they can force the errors, if they can keep disrupting Rochdale, they're going to keep them out of the game. Roden again making some decent meters.
He's been lively, Roden, hasn't he? He's been a bit of a threat around that ruck area for...
It looks like something that they've really targeted. They've kept the ball tight a lot, haven't they, around the ruck area, and looked to hit those channels between A and B. Had a bit of joy with it. This is the last, so the kick will come from pretty much directly on the halfway line. It's a real tall one for Walkley to get underneath, which he does. But again, Keighley just seems to be finding it slightly easier than Rochdale to get out of their own territory, although they are against the hill in this half, which may have an impact as the 80 minutes wears on. That's Junior Sal with a direct carry. He's followed up by Aaron Brown. He'll bring us up to the halfway line. 3 Rochdale defenders in there, though, to slow it down. He eventually does go to ground. The ball comes loose, and the referee gives the knock on. Not happy about it, Aaron Brown. I think he felt there was a bit of unnecessary attention in there, but it will be Rochdale ball on the halfway line, and a chance for them early on in the second half to try and march themselves downfield and perhaps put some pressure on this Keighley line.
Yeah, well, he certainly looks a little bit disillusioned there, does Aaron Brown. He just kind of was thrown late and disagrees with the referee's decision, but this is a great opportunity now for Rochdale, because you look at the scoreboard, it's not an unsurmountable target. You know, they're not like they're well and truly out of the game. And 16 points is the deficit. If they can score early in this second half, they reduce that potentially to 10 points, and it's game on, isn't it? So this is a big defensive set here for the Cougars, but equally an important attacking set for the Rochdale Hornets as they look to apply pressure as they go to this right-hand side now. Great footwork.
Yeah, just stepping through the line there and up into it as Andrade now has another crack. Still some space over on this right-hand side for Rochdale to work with. Still going.
Good tackle.
Yeah, good tackle comes in and they're stopped on the 10-metre line, but still with tackles in hand. As Derbyshire plays the ball. And they'll look to just ramp it up the middle with Dean Roberts. Still going. Stopped eventually a metre away. This is the last. Options on both sides. Will they go for the kicking option, or will they look to just play it through the hands? The kick does come in. Oh, and it's knocked on by Walkley. So Rochdale earn themselves a repeat set.
Wow.
It's a horrible bouncing ball for the Keighley winger to deal with, and Billy Walkley spills right in front of his own try line. Lucky there that he managed to kind of spill it into his own legs and diffuse any subsequential danger. But this is a fantastic position for Rochdale to try and get the first points of the second half.
Yeah, I don't disagree there. And I actually think if the young fellow Ratchford had looked up and actually moved the ball, I think they would have walked in there. They had a huge overlap on this left-hand side. I think if he goes through the hands out the back to McNally, I think it creates a 3v1 scenario with Walkley. I think it's try-time Rochdale, but he elects to put the grubber kick in and gets the next best reward, which was an error from Walkley.
Well, McNally wasn't happy there. He wrapped around from the scrum wanting the ball. He didn't get it, and giving Roden a bit of a spraying in backfield. So Rochdale a couple of metres away. Roden looks to just snipe himself, but met by a wall of 3 Keighley defenders in there. The next attempt was stopped relatively routinely as well. So
short
they're lining up on this left side, which is where Keighley are short of the numbers, but I don't know if they've missed that because they've gone to the other edge and the kick comes in over the top. There's a bit of a nothing kick in the end, and Sal able to get up and take it in, but as you pointed out, Hendo, Keighley had perhaps got the numbers wrong over on their right edge.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Greg McNally was so theatrical throughout that attacking play. On 3 occasions, he's throwing the arms up, he's jumping up and down in disgust because he's clearly communicating that we need to get the ball out here, and particularly into my hands, because there are try-scoring opportunities. And on every occasion, it went to the other side where there was no threat with the attack. So I think if they'd come to that left side there, they would have had an opportunity to score points.
Thomas on his bike looking to go up the middle. Oh, and it nearly found their way through. It was Aaron Brown who was screaming on the inside line. Just unable to bring the ball in cleanly. And another opportunity goes begging for Keighley, and Rochdale hanging on by a thread.
Yeah, they just need to get that little bit of composure there, Keighley. They've not had the best start to the second half. They've come up with a couple of mistakes, and they've given Rochdale a little bit of an opportunity, albeit you can argue the Hornets have made some poor decisions with the ball, which then means that they haven't been able to post points or cause the Cougars too many problems.
They don't want to keep banking on that,
but they don't want to keep exactly. That's the point I was trying to get to there, Lewis. That they just need to get through the next set, Keighley, get to a good kick.
Oh, a penalty. For interference at the scrum. So Keighley, a little bit of the masters of their own downfall here, a little bit. Still well on top of the scoreboard, of course, but inviting the pressure on.
Correct.
And we know that this Rochdale team can score points. They are, of course, without starting halfback Lewis Ellis, who looks like he's sat down for at least this game, quite possibly the next, with that shoulder injury, strapped up. Now Andrade just keeps the ball in hand. They were perhaps looking for a spread play there, Rochdale, but the Keighley defence did a good job of getting up and shutting that down. So they're staying between the tram lines. Roden shapes to go right and then comes left and nearly darts through from dummy half. Flanagan's asking for an error, but there's nothing there, says the referee. So now they come to the left-hand side again. That's Ben Killen trying to muscle his way over. Again, maybe Keighley are just short of numbers on this left-hand side. They've sorted the issue now. Andrade crashes over, and Rochdale do get the first points of the second half. And it's game on here at Cougar Park.
100%, Lewis, and you called it. If they continue to show that ill-discipline and disrespect with the ball or give away penalties and keep inviting Rochdale into this area of the field, hey, then they're going to score points eventually. And on that occasion, it was just the power play close to the line. They just hit the big fella, Jordan Andrade, who's, like you said, has made his presence known this afternoon. He just gets over the top of Brad England. He isolates him one-on-one. You know, Brad England's he's not a slouch either. He's a decent-sized human being. But big Jordan Andrade, just close to the line, was too big, too strong, and powers his way over to keep Rochdale in this contest. But again, it's come off the back of the Cougars, just showing a little bit of ill-discipline, disrespecting their ball control as well. And it's gifted Rochdale field position and the opportunity to score points. And again, there was nothing fancy in the play. It was just a big power play from Jordan Andrade, just crashing over Lewis.
Well, there's a band of Rochdale supporters stood over on that open terrace getting soaked, but that will have warmed them up a bit because the team are not done yet. Mackenzie Harmon has an opportunity to turn 4 into 6. Which he does routinely. Pretty simple conversion, he makes no mistake. Rochdale cut the lead down to 10. And we've said it a couple of times in this game, but the next score feels very important.
Totally agree. I mean, it's just, for me now, from Keighley's perspective, it's really, really important that they get a good deep kick off here, kick chase hard and really defend this set. Try and restrict Rochdale getting into their half of the field. They have a real big focus on this defensive set. And then the next set with the ball, they just need to keep it simple, get to the end of it and get a good kick and try and get back into that kind of grind mentality rather than...
It is a deep kick-off. Oh, no! Exactly what Rochdale didn't want to do after getting themselves back into the game. Almost very similar pattern to when they scored in the first half.
Oh.
They've invited Keighley right back up to their end.
Oh, that's just disappointment there for the Hornets. You know, they've got themselves back into the contest, and then off the kick-off, they just dropped the ball there cold. Mackenzie Harmon, he's caught them all day, to be fair. On that occasion, he's just a little lapse of concentration there. Sometimes it can be the pressure of the game as well that gets to him. And
Keighley looking to wrap out to this right-hand side where Adam Ryder is brought down about 8 metres away. Plenty of tackles in hand, of course, to try and make this count. Andrade, again, really good work. from the Rochdale middle to get himself up out to that 10-metre line and shut that move down straight away. Brad England it was that he managed to get to, and Aaron Brown now trying to work his way through, but again Rochdale's defence does well. Flanagan is dead central. Ione can't muscle his way through that time. Just keeping it short and central for the time being, Keighley, which is what they'll do again, and it's just a run against the grain from England. This is the last, so they'll either have to use the whip now or put boot to ball. They come out to Miller, who does look to stab a kick through. He doesn't connect with it particularly well. Takes another stab at it. The referee's got a little bit of cleaning up to do here. And in fact, I think it's going to be a penalty for an offside. So not the most routine end to a set from a Keighley perspective, but it does work for them eventually.
No,
it wasn't. The kick comes through. It just takes a deflection off a couple of Rochdale players and then eventually picked up, but we are coming back for an offside.
Yeah, like I said, his kicking game has been great.
I think they're going to go for the posts here.
They are. Yeah, they've elected to take the 2
points. Move this out to a 12-point advantage if they can.
Yeah, well, like I was just
a sign
going
of
to say,
respect, really, for how Rochdale have started in this last 5-10 minutes.
Absolutely. And I was just going to say that Jack Miller's kicking game has been exemplary this afternoon, and that was probably the one kick he sort of fluffed, but he actually gets an outcome off the back of it. Just a little bit unfortunate there for Rochdale. You know, the error off the kick-off, then they back it up with the penalty, albeit it was just unfortunate. It was accidental offside, but it ends up being deemed offside. So the Cougars, I think it's not the worst case scenario here, elected to go for the 2. I think they know they've been a little bit scrappy and a bit disjointed to start with. Just settle things down, take a breather, knock over these 2 points. Makes it a 12-point ball game, and I'd probably then make the point of next time you're up there, drop one over, just to sort of give you a bit more of a buffer. But see how Miller goes now as he lines up this attempt at goal there, Lewis.
I would think for Miller this will be reasonably simple, and he does just stroke it over. Keighley keeping the scoreboard, just checking along. And all of that coming from that error from the kickoff.
It's the Cougars 24,
Rochdale just undoing a lot of their good work again. We see that kick from Miller, as you say, it was a bit of a scuff, but still comes up, smelling the roses from it, and 2 points added to the tally from the Keighley perspective, and it really is for them at this point now just a manner of an issue of game management, isn't it?
Agreed. Yeah, it's just like I said here, it's really, really important that they get to the end of this set. They don't need to overplay or chance their arm.
Really tall kickoff. That is coming down with snow on it, but
great catch.
Jack Miller does really, really well underneath it.
Well done. It was a great kickoff from Mackenzie Harmon, but well taken by Jack Miller.
And that's Adam Ryder now muscling his way up over the 20. Keighley get the sense that the game plan from here on in is not going to be throw the ball around. It's going to be this, just getting the big men moving up the middle channel.
Yep.
Mark Arney there making some good extra meters. Flanagan out to Thomas. Thomas will step back on the inside and eventually wrapped up by 2 defenders. So this is the last, but Keighley kicking from decent field position. And it's a high one before to get underneath, but he does well.
Yeah, that's a really good set, Lewis, from the Keighley Cougars there. You know, it's almost the perfect set. They've just carried hard and direct, made the meters. Great kick from Jack Miller, and they pin Harrop in that left-hand corner. And now it's a tough set for the Hornets to get out of their own back end.
Philip Apple with the carry there. He's been kept quiet by Keighley this afternoon. He's done a good job of kind of restricting his meters and involvement in this game, but gets a decent carry there, and then McNally will look to just turn him around for kick early in the set, but he won't be not taking any risks there, just using his footwork to control the ball, and Zandrado went hunted after him again, and another good contact, but Keighley starting this set in good field position already into positive equity into the Rochdale half as Sal plays the ball to Thomas, and now Keighley changed the point of attack over to this right-hand side. Brad England 27 metres or so away from the line. Flanagan again just with a short ball to Marco Arney, who's stopped after a couple of metres progress. Now they come out to the left-hand side. Aaron Brown will look to settle it 10 metres away. This is the last, but be interesting to see what they go for, Keighley. This could be a scoring opportunity, or they may just look to try and turn Rochdale around. I think it was a drop goal attempt. It's taken a deflection back to Jack Miller, who then juggles it. It's gone backwards and the tackle count has been wiped. So, again, Jack Miller with not the best kick of his career, but somehow he's ended up with 6 more tackles.
But I called it before tonight. Next time they're down there, slot over the one-pointer, makes it a 3-tie ball game.
Could be on for 4 here. Thomas nearly cutting his way through the line.
It's good defence from the Hornets. They drive him back. Great defence.
He's still banging this game, but then maybe too much there. And you would think that they will go for the 2 points again here at this penalty. Move themselves out to that 14-point lead and maybe just put themselves in a position as we see the drop goal attempt again. It's a good charge down again.
Yeah,
he goes after it and spilt it after that, but backwards, and now he's going to have an opportunity to just stroke 2 more points over the crossbar.
Yeah, well, I definitely think
me moving Keighley towards that playoff final.
Yeah, well, I definitely think the drop goal was the right option. It just, like you said, wasn't probably executed as well as you would have liked to have done. They get the set of 6 again because of the charge down, and then it's a penalty given away here. And I'm not too sure about this. Was he held? You know, he's getting driven back there, and there's still momentum. I think Rochdale could find themselves a little bit unlucky there with that call, but what it does now for the Cougars, it does create this buffer now for them where the Hornets...
No mistake. He won't turn those 2 points down. And it is that 14-point lead, all important 3-score lead. And more than anything, again, after working themselves back into a better position, it just makes that mountain look a little bit steeper for Rochdale, doesn't it? There's a psychological element to it as they roll a few changes as well. Andrade off the field. He's made a huge difference. He's coming off the bench in the first half, so I wonder if they're just looking to spell him, give him 10 minutes and then finish with a big 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, you can certainly agree on Lewis that he certainly had a positive impact for his team when he came on. He sort of tried to, you know, put on some big shots to try and lift his teammates around him. He had some strong carries and obviously scored that great try, individual try near the try line. He's had some positive contributions this afternoon as Jordan Andrade, the Jamaican international.
So Andrade off, as is Killen and Dean Roberts, so almost a pretty much straight rotation from what they did in the first half, with Nelms coming on. Trower as well. And Emerson Whittle back into the side. So plenty of experience rolling off the bench, but they've got a job to do. This is Tale Papa, can't get himself free. Rochdale's getting a little bit penned into their own territory here as they look to make some headway down the right-hand side. But again, Keighley's defence out to them and restricting the metres. It's a bit of a sloppy play of the ball, but it's okay, says Ben Fayler. So probably Rochdale's most effective play of the set, just giving it to the big lads and going up the middle, which is what they do again with Nelms. Looking to get the offload away, but it's not clean, and it's picked up by George Flanagan for Keighley. Just not quite sticking from a Rochdale perspective, is it? The things that they're trying as Arnie fires it back into the line.
Well, they probably have a sense of they've got to chase a little bit. You know, they're now 3 scores behind, but they don't need to chase. There's still a bit enough time on the clock. There's 18 and a half to go. I don't think they need to be trying to force it just yet, but they will at some point, though, Lewis.
Flanagan brings us out to the right to Miller. Miller brings it up to the line, and it's a ball back inside to Josh Lynham, who's still going, eventually brought down about 8 metres away. Bit of a messy play, the ball. The referee's just going to blow his whistle to let them all untangle themselves and get on with it. That is what they do, and now they come out to the left-hand side. Here's Thomas, here's Robson. Sow was lurking over right on that left touch line, but Robson kept it in hand. It's Sow from the play the ball. He's just going to go himself. Takes 3 Rochdale defenders with him, but doesn't make a huge amount of progress. This is the last. Miller is 3 or 4 players out, so they go to the short side where Thomas will stab one through. It's just put out, and I think it's going to be a 20-metre tap. It must have been Junior Sat. I think it's Robson, actually, who was trying to get to it. In the end, I don't think anyone got a finger on it. It was dribbled out for a 20-metre tap, and it does feel a little bit now or never from a Rochdale perspective. As Luke Forber makes the first carry of the set, bringing them up towards the 40-metre line. Already looking to step into Keighley territory, so probably the best run of plays that Rochdale have had for a few minutes. Now they are into Keighley real estate. Nelms will play the ball, and they'll just keep it nice and central.
It's a great carry there by Dwayne Straffer.
But that is where the joy has been, hasn't it, for both teams? It's been up the middle, and now here's McNally, who looks to spread the ball out wide for Forber to score in the corner. It's a really well-worked move, beautifully through the hands. McNally with the diamond ball, and Forber just keeps this game right on edge.
Yeah, well, it was a great try from the Hornets. It came off the back of Dwayne Straffer's carry. He just said, give me the ball. I'm going to get us going forward. I'm going to generate some ruck speed for us to play off the back of. He does that, and it's a wonderful short-side attacking play here as Rashford goes to the line, out the back to McNally, and it's a great execution of skill and decision from McNally. He weighs up the options. He sees that Walkley's in no man's land. He's in between the centre and winger. He elects to go across the face to the wingman Forber, who finishes really well in that left-hand corner. But again, it was the carry of Straffer that laid the platform. And then obviously young Thomas Rashford plays nice and straight, fixes his defender. Great lead line from the back rower. Out the back there to McNally. That creates the 3v2 opportunity. Obviously Miller goes in on McNally, and then McNally just finds the pass to Forber.
Oh, but it's a decent enough effort. He's just shaded it to the left-hand side, so it will stay 26-16 to Keighley.
Still game on, Lewis.
Oh, very much so. If Rochdale could score again back-to-back, which is the one thing they've struggled to do, isn't it? They've not capitalised when they have scored points in this game. It's not the first time, and we've spotted it a number of times, but it's not the first time perhaps that Keighley have just got their numbers wrong on that edge. Maybe the first time that Rochdale have used it.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. There was certainly a period early in the second half where Rochdale had some opportunities to attack to that left side. They didn't take it. I think they would have posted points.
So 15 minutes left in the Sandtimer, 10 points between the two teams on the scoreboard. We could be going down to the wire here on the Sportsman. This is what playoff footy's all about. This is why we love it. Two teams who had a real crack at each other this afternoon. And the door is still open for Rochdale to sneak in and take this one and get themselves through to that playoff final, which would be a remarkable achievement.
Oh, 100%.
As you mentioned, they've really come on in the last kind of third of this season.
And even today, they've had to deal with some adversity. They lost their halfback early in the first half, and they've already used a number of interchanges. I think they've only got one sub left for the remainder of the game, whereas the Cougars still have 3 up their sleeve. So I think the Cougars have got the...
Well, that's Forster making really good progress from that. This is the last, but it'll be a really good kicking position. They'll come out to the short side again. It's Rashford who maybe just caught in two minds about what to do. Eventually does boot the ball, and that's not a bad kick for Tulapapa to chase. He bumps it back onto the inside. That's gone forwards. Ooh. A little bit of invention from Rochdale, but not quite on the money. And it was Meadows who just for a second saw the dollar signs in his eyes before he was over the line. But Betfred, I think very correctly, has pulled that back for a forward pass. But Rochdale just showing a little bit of improvisation, nearly having some joy with it.
Absolutely, but again for me it was a great set from Rochdale. They marched down the field, they finished within 10 out of the Cougars line, and if I was from the Cougars point of view, I'd be disappointed that they've allowed Rochdale that many metres going forward, just making too many post-contact metres on their carries. And then Rashford with the inventive crossfield kick against the runner play a little bit, and that almost pays dividends for them, Lewis.
Big set in the game, this one. How's your line speed, Rochdale? How's your composure, Keighley? Can they get to an end of the set without an error? Can they make something of it and just march themselves away from their own try line? Keeping it very simple, as you'd expect. And they are up to halfway on the 5th. So they'll come to the short side. Miller will just stab a kick through, which will bobble into touch, and very sensible kind of game management end of set play.
Agreed there. Well, you spoke about it just in the call there, Lewis, about how's your composure there, Keighley, and it certainly was a composed set from them. They kept it really simple, carrying down that middle third, and then Jack Miller just finds the line on last play. So it means now they'll get their markers set, their line set. Rochdale will play the ball 10 out their own line. So now it's Rochdale's turn to see how they can go going forward. This is great defence as the Cougars drive back Jack Derbyshire. And they lose metres on the first play, Rochdale.
Get off the line and meet him, Cougars!
Get off the line and meet him. It's the shout from the Cougars fans. And that ball's come loose to play the ball. Ben Thaler's waved it on, so some 3 metres there from a Rochdale perspective. Whittle plays the ball. Another strong carry straight up the middle. Looking for a quick play at the ball. Yeah, James Straffer does play it, and it is a quick enough play. Here's Ratchford looking to step back on the inside. He's looking for runners. Doesn't find one. Still going. Looking to play towards that edge. In the end, wrapped up. Didn't really make any progress for all of his invention there, but Talapapa will step into the acting half. Crowd really getting into this one now. They know what's at stake here. They know that there is a playoff final up for grabs. It's another high kick from Harmon. Walkley just about doing enough. He held on to that one with his fingernails, but manages to bring it under control. And now Junior Sal looks to bring it out of yardage. George Flanagan in at dummy half. Relatively central, brings us out to the left to Ellis Robson, who will just keep ball in hand and bring it up towards the halfway line. Keighley doing a decent job of just rolling through the sets here and winning the arm wrestle as Sal takes his second carry of the set. This is the last. They'll be kicking from deep, but they won't mind that. They'll look to just pin Rochdale in. It's a really high kick from Miller. A horrible one for Greg McNally to deal with, but deal with it he does. And then find Missy Tulapapa, who looks to find some space, rolls off a couple of tackles, still going, eventually brought down. McNally at the play the ball. Just a short crash ball for Luke Forber coming off his wing. Rochdale up to their own 40-metre line. Nelms now will just put it up the jumper and look to make the carry, but he's cut down. Now Whittle. This is the last, so Rochdale need to come up with something on this kick. Time running out, less than 10 minutes left in the game. Really well taken by Oscar Thomas, but he's met well. Keighley will start this set from pretty much their own try line. But the important thing for them is that they have the ball, and whilst they have possession, they're in control of the game.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a real, like you said, it's an arm wrestle now, isn't it? Both shot
goes
in. It's a shot, but it's going to be a penalty.
Over-rotated in the tackles. There's going to be a penalty. The initial contact was superb. I think it was Hayden Roden who got his shoulder in. The initial contact was excellent, but then just too much rotation over the horizontal, and rightfully a penalty.
Yeah, agreed. And we'll see it on the replay shortly, but that'll be disappointing for Rochdale because I thought they were really in that grind mentality, set for set. We see here now on the replay.
Roden carry.
Yeah, gets under the ball. It's a good shot, but it is a tip tackle, and it is a penalty. It's whether or not Ben Thaler will produce a card off the back of this. He is in a dangerous position, and it's the defender's responsibility to control the tackle and the player safely to the ground. He hasn't done that, and he is going to produce a card here.
Wait to see which colour it's red.
Card.
Doesn't really matter which colour it is in terms of this game, because even if it was yellow,
it's a shame.
Rochdale would be finishing this game.
Yeah, he's had a decent
man short, but it is red, and it's almost too much enthusiasm, isn't he? He's looking to hit under the ball,
yeah.
For the error.
Oh, his technique was great. You know, he's got the late drop. He's hit under the ball. But just the power of his shot and his technique, he's just managed to just break the momentum of Walkley and put him in a dangerous position, unfortunately. And that's the letter of the law, I'm afraid. You know, it's the defender's responsibility to safely put that play to ground, and unfortunately, due to the actual nature of the contact and that he lost control of the player, and the player gets put in a dangerous position. So the referee had no alternative but to not only award the penalty but reduce the card, and he ended up deciding it was a red card offence.
And that maybe is the moment in the game that just pushes this beyond Rochdale Hornets. They've had a real go. They've been up against it for a minute one, pretty much straight away on the scoreboard as well. As we mentioned, lost some key players and they've lost another man there. They'll be down to 12 men for the rest of the game. Stranger things have happened. You never know in rugby league. A drop ball, an interception, an error, a moment of brilliance, and they would be breathing down the Cougars next, but they've got their tails up, have the home side. And they've got the experience, you would think, to see them through this, as Flanagan brings us out to the left-hand side. Pretty much dead central now. You would think that they're not going to overplay here, although that's a nice offload. And they're still going, looking for the try that really would seal it. This is the last.
What's a bet? George Flanagan show and go here.
Well, we've seen it before. You call it, Hendo. And he's not quite managed to force his way over. But I tell you what, if he'd have scored that, Hendo would have been asking you to pick the lottery numbers.
I've coached against him long enough. I've played against him long enough in the past. I know he's like near that try line. He can't help himself, Georgie boy.
It's not a bad place to turn the ball over.
No, it's not. No, look, they're a metre off the line, and now, like you said, there's just under 6 minutes left on the clock, and oh, that's a high tackle.
That's a high shot, and this will be interesting.
Yeah, he's gone.
Just had a player sent to the bin, and both teams will finish this game a man down, and two isolated incidents, of course. Most of this game has been played in a fantastic spirit. There's not been any kind of boiling over to it at all. The two players sat down for a high shot.
Yeah.
I think he's caught his own player in the
as well.
Friendly fire, and I think it is in fact.
Winning ticket is yellow 227.
Man Will Mayerpass is still down.
In the Hall of Fame bar and she'll pay your winnings. Yellow 227.
Just obviously just making sure that, not sure who that is. Is it Mitch Revel, wasn't it, that was getting some attention?
Yeah. Now back up to his feet after
he's okay.
Catching a stray one off his own teammate. So this does make it interesting again. 5 minutes to go. Rochdale, as we've said a few times, if it's got to happen, it's got to happen now. But Papa nearly finding his way through. It would certainly make for a nervous finish if they could find some points on this set. Now they come over to the left-hand side where Ben Forster is wrapped up. Keighley defenders flying in. 3 of them eventually managed to bring him down. So it'll be a slower play, the ball. Ratchford at acting half brings it out to Nelms. He'll just do what he does best and carry it up the middle, but he's met well by the Keighley defenders and forced back. So progress limited from a Rochdale perspective. Ratchford again brings it out to Emerson Whittle, who manages to just poke his nose through the line before being brought down. All the numbers are stacked out to this left-hand side. Andrade is back onto the field of play. Harmon does really well to keep control of it, but then throws a bit of a loose ball over the top. Tulipapa will kick and chase his own effort, and then look to force a repeat set, and they will do. It's Thomas who was dealing with it. He was wrapped up. So Rochdale will get a ball back, but an opportunity for Keighley to take a little bit of time and sting out of this game.
Yeah, well, obviously with the clock going against them at the moment, Rochdale, they've got to be a little bit inventive and creative and play a little bit off the cuff, and it was early in the tackle count there. Loose pass to Talapapa. He invents a kick play which pays dividends because he kick chases hard, and Oscar Thomas in good field position again to cover the kick, does a great job getting low, making sure he doesn't make any errors, but Talapapa pounces straight on him and puts him in the in-goal area. So it means they'll get another opportunity to attack this Cougars line, and it's Dan Parker that drops it out, goes deep, and
Talapapa just managing to stop that from going out. A bit of an awkward bounce, but Rochdale do have the ball, and time is ticking away.
Well, they have to score this set, don't they? They have to. And Andre's back out there now.
Oh, and he's lost it.
Oh, it's a penalty.
But it's a penalty. So they want to get this going quickly, maybe stick it in the corner, take the extra yards. A little bit of gamemanship going on there just to slow it down from Dan Parker. The referee just settling the game down a little bit here, having a word with a couple of players for a bit of afters in there. Sims and Whittle, I think, that he's just having a chat with. And Thaler. Talk about all the experience on the playing side of things. How about Ben Thaler refereeing in the League One playoffs? Seen it all, hasn't he? Not much will faze him in these big games.
Good defensive for the Cougars.
Big shot.
Ben Thaler almost gets taken out.
Referee wearing one there, but he's back up to his feet and needs to be because Rochdale are on the charge. Andrade nearly through, still going. He's been held up. That ball's come loose as well.
He lost it, to be fair.
Well, referee's got a little bit of unpicking to do here because the ball's definitely lost. He said it was held up, but I think Rochdale have got away with one a little bit there.
Yeah, I think
we're going to go back 10 metres.
Well, we'll have a look on the replay now, and again, it's that man Jordan Andrade close to the line, but he loses possession. Oh, it's maybe stolen from. I think there's a bit of. I think Andre let's go. Lynham's pulling, so it's going to still be a Rochdale ball, isn't it? He's just adjudged it to be held up over the line. Dan Parker receiving some attention at the moment.
Well, we're going to have a look at Ben Thaler putting a shot in on strength. Just joining the firing line. Grabs a shirt to keep himself up and gets on with it. But now, in the meantime, Rochdale could be in the corner, and it's going to be a penalty, I think, for a high shot. It was definitely around the head on Tulipapa from Sal. He was going down, so it'll be interesting to see how Ben Thaler unpicks this one.
Just gives a penalty. I think he sees this mitigating
spread play.
Yeah,
he's going for the corner, isn't he? Tulipapa, that kind of missile-style dive, and Sal just catches him high. So he can't stay in the pocket. We get on with it. Rochdale continue to bang on the door. It may well be academic, even if they do score at this point. But Harmon, surely the gap was there. He just needed to put the gas on, didn't he? A couple of metres away. Ratchford. Again, Straubel carrying the line speed is fantastic from a Keighley perspective. Just managing the game out now. We're going to have another break. There's some tired bodies out there now.
Short on this left side again.
And that is where they come, but then Estes and Whittle just steps back on the inside, ignoring the numbers, trying to force his way over himself. Worth reminding you at this point, that clock on the screen is just a guide. It isn't connected to the timekeeper's clock, as it comes over the top. Former could be in, gets the offload away. And Harrop, I think he scored. Try given. And this is going to be a very fun last couple of minutes of the game. We're not sure exactly how much time is going to be left after this conversion. The clock in the stadium is suggesting about 2 minutes, which will be more than enough time for Rochdale to do something. It's another really good Sydney Harbour Bridge ball over the top.
Yeah, it is.
It's Dalton Harrop who gets one in the ribs for his troubles. It's a great offload. And he scores the try.
Said that was short on this
Harmon
side.
with the opportunity to convert, which would take them to within 4 points. It's a really good effort. Has it got the distance? It has. And we have got a 4-point ball game with maybe a minute and a half tops left here at Cougar Park. We're going down to the wire, Hendo.
Wow, we certainly are. What a finish. Well, we said they were short on this left side again, and McNally picks it. He sees it, and it's again him. He's the provider with the pass selection and the execution, the skill to put Forber in the corner yet again. Sorry, it was Harrop this time, but puts Forber in a position to get the offload to Harrop.
1 minute 16.
But this is a huge
stadium clock here.
Huge set, Lewis, this.
We could be in for some basketball here if Rochdale have to try and force something. What a finish we've got on our hands.
Wow.
A place in the playoff final on the line. A minute and 16 seconds to settle it. Maybe more, who knows? We mentioned Golden Point at the top of the show. Rochdale having to do it from deep inside their own half. The atmosphere electric inside Cougar Park now. The fans know. The fans know that this is on an absolute knife edge. We're under a minute to go on the stadium clock. We're not sure what the referee's got on his watch. Rochdale spreading it on the right-hand side. It could be through here. McNally puts a kick through. Thomas does really well, but the tackle clock's wiped. It's probably irrelevant. There's a player down in backfield. I think, is it Miller?
I think it's Ben Dean, isn't it? He needs to get it
down. The referee stopped. Rochdale aren't happy about it. The clock is stopped, but Rochdale will feel like the game's been slowed down there.
Oh, wow. This is some finish, and again, it was the Hornets. They set up on this left side so they could have a sweeping attacking play to the right. They move the point of attack, and they make the initial line break.
McNally,
you see it here, look, it's Straffer again.
Straffer with the break initially. It
gets
then the offload. McNally does really well, and I think he just thinks that Junior Sowell probably a little bit too close to supporting runners. He puts the kick in. Thomas does well enough in the end to just get a foot to it, stop the kick from going through. Just a bit of cramp for Dean. Back to his feet.
He's struggling to move though, and he needs to get on side. He can't. He's hardly been able to run.
Well, you'd put a carry right on top of him, wouldn't you, if you were
where you'd be targeting,
calling the shots from a Rochdale perspective. Whittle, and they come the other way, in fact, looking to push their way through. So it all comes down to this, a full set banging on the door. We've got maybe 20 seconds left in the game. Andrade rams up a big carry, still going. Oh, shots flying in.
Josh Lynham.
Nelms who wears one. This could be it. 10 seconds left on the clock. Possibly the last play of the game. A place in the playoff final on the line. Ratchford goes one way, then the other, runs out of options. The Keighley defence gets out to him. The hooter goes. The Keighley Cougars are through to the playoff final. But my word, Hendo, will they make to work hard for that.
Oh, wow. What a game. What a game. I mean, Rochdale Hornets, you know, they didn't even really look in the contest come half-time. But, wow, they managed to get some opportunity in the second half. It was almost like a role reversal. Keighley coming up with some errors and penalties, gifting Rochdale full position and opportunity. And Greg McNally, for me, was well, he was the orchestrator of a lot of those tries, you know, setting up with his pass selection. And I think they did miss a few opportunities as well. But what a game, what a great contest. But overall, you have to argue that Keighley have enjoyed the better of the game and deserve to be in that next stage of the competition.
So Keighley advanced. Rochdale will go again. They've got some work to do, I think, some bodies to match up in the week. They will know that they had the opportunity right at the death to win this game. But it is the Cougars who are through to the final. We said at the beginning of the show, these two teams have played each other 3 times before this. A win each, a draw. There's clearly not very much between them. And on this occasion, again, Endo just the 4 points. And, well, it could have gone either way at the end.
It really could have. And I think, like, Keighley will be really pleased and relieved that they're now into the final. But they'll also be disappointed in the way they allowed Rochdale to get back into the contest. You know, because at half-time, for me, the Cougars were well in control. And I just felt the start of that second half, they just lacked a bit of composure. They lacked some discipline issues, which then invited Rochdale into some field position and gave them the opportunities to post points. But you have to give a lot of credit to Rochdale the way that they competed.
In all of the drama at the end, I didn't get a chance to ask you for your Betfred player of the match. I'm going to put you on the spot now. How did you shoot?
Wow, that's a tough one. I'd probably have to go with Jack Miller, mate. I think Jack Miller was at the heart of a lot of the good stuff that the Cougars did this afternoon. So, Jack Miller.
So there you go. Jack Miller is your Betfred player of the match. A standout in a classic here on the Sportsman. The playoffs up and running in fantastic fashion. We've got 4 more weeks of this, of course. A game a week here on the Sportsman right up until the 20th of October. So plenty more to come. But let's just remind ourselves, Hendo, you can talk us through how this game unfolded and how Keighley have booked their place in the Betfred League One playoff final.
Yep, absolutely. You see here, fantastic try opening the scoring. Lachlan Lansky, the back rower, opened the scoring for the Keighley Cougars in the first half. The great outline. Then almost a carbon copy with Josh Lynham running a fantastic outline on his defender to extend the lead further to 10 points to 0. And then Miller with a neat little grubber kick in behind the line, chased by Adam Ryder. And obviously Forber couldn't deal with it, and Miller pounces to extend it even further to 16 points to 0. But then McNally with a great high-hanging kick. Junior Sow bitterly disappointed with that one. He should have taken it. Comes up with the error, and Dean Roberts manages to pounce and get Rochdale back into the game at 16 points to 6. And then the big man, Mark Ioane, powers over for what I thought was the try of the game. Great little short pass from Aaron Brown, and Ioane off the left foot, brushes a couple of Whitby tacklers to extend the half-time lead at 22 points to 6. But straight early in the second half, Jordan Andre powers over for Rochdale to get them back into the game. But then a penalty gets awarded here. Argue it was contentious. The Hornets driving back Oscar Thomas. Clearly the referee had called held, and they awards a penalty, and that allowed Jack Miller to slot the 2 points to give them a 14-point cushion. But then this is a great try. Ratchford out the back to McNally, creates the 3v2, finds a pass to Forber across the face, and he gets in the corner. That was a great response from the Rochdale Hornets, and that got them back into the contest then. And within 10 points of the Cougars. But then Aidan Roden, who's had a wonderful game for the Rochdale Hornets this afternoon, gets under the ball, puts Walkley in a dangerous position, and as a result gets red carded. So the Hornets reduced to 12 men at this stage until Will Mayer comes across with a careless high shot on Jack Derbyshire. He gets yellow carded. That was literally 2 minutes after Roden goes off, and that makes it 12 men apiece with just under 10 minutes to go. And then this try here, McNally, the architecture, with a great Harbour Bridge pass over the top to Forber, who comes off the left foot and finds a great offload back inside to Miles Harrop. And it means it was going to be a nervy finish for the Cougars as they get within 4 points. And then there we go, scenes of jubilation and relief from the Keighley Cougars as they confirm their place in the playoff final. And fantastic scenes here. And we're just going to hold down now to Lewis Smith, who's going to be interviewing player of the match, Jack Miller.
Well, joining me after that one, Jack Miller, player of the match. Firstly, congratulations, but that was tough, wasn't it?
Tough for me. Look at conditions. Playoff football's never easy. I mean, Rochdale went down to what, 12 men. I think there were 20 minutes left to play, and I think they grew another leg. And then we had a yellow card, and probably didn't help ourselves in second half. Probably didn't play conditions, but like I said, playoff football's never pretty, and thankfully we've come out on the side on a win.
There was a little bit of a pattern of you guys kind of stepping out ahead and then letting them back in again and then shutting the door. Is it more frustration that you kept them in the game, or are you happy with the way that you responded every time they hit back?
I think our guys showed a lot of grit and determination, didn't they? I mean, no game's ever perfect, and especially in these conditions, like I've just said. So I think we've got to credit ourselves for coming away with a victory. That game could have easily gone another way. Like I said, Rochdale grew another leg. But, you know, we're in a final, aren't we? So I suppose sometimes it don't matter how you get there, does it? And today we've done that.
And you could see the game plan kind of changing and adapting as the 80 minutes went on. You kind of stopped looking to spread it, brought it very much into the middle, went through the forwards.
Playing conditions, you know. I mean, whatever game plan you had before or whatever you've worked on, we haven't had a game for 2 weeks, so whatever game plan you've ever worked on, whoever you want to spot, it goes out a window and you've got to play to conditions. You've done nothing but bucket it down, so you've got to play them conditions, and I think we did that.
And you're in the final, obviously, that playoff final and potentially the promotion final after that. How determined is this group to go all the way this year?
You know, I think we had an objective at the start of the year to get promoted back to the Championship where we come from. and it's been a bit of a topsy-turvy year, but you know, I think you look at fighting spirit that we had, I think it just shows what we're about, and we want to get back to the championship.
Well, go and get yourself in the dry.
Cheers,
Enjoy tonight, mate. Congratulations.
Cheers, thank you.
We'll bring in from the Rochdale Hornets, Ed. How difficult to take is that, having got yourself so close towards the end?
It's really difficult to take, but I think there's a lot of positives to take from it as well. We've played 60 minutes there with as main halfback out of the game, and then we've played the last 20 minutes with 12 men. So to say that we only got beat by 4 points, we can take a massive bit of something from that, and hopefully we can do a job next week, come back again in 2 weeks' time and right some wrongs. We've played Keighley 3-4 times now, and each game's been a great game, and we've got closer. They beat us, we beat them, we've had a draw, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you guys have battered each other every time you've played each other this year. It's been, you know, another real intense 80 minutes of rugby league. You've got to go again next week, of course. How important is the next few days going to be in terms of recuperating and putting today behind you and going again?
Yeah, nothing's a given, and last week we had a bit of a down week building up into this, knowing that it was a big game, and we know that Keighley had 2 weeks off prior to this. They played us, we beat them, and then 2 weeks up to this building up. So the next couple of weeks are massive. The next couple of days are massive for us. The recovery and stuff we need to get in place for a big week, because obviously nothing's given. Midlands, somewhat have gone and done Hunslet, so it's a completely new thing. We played them a few times well, and each time it's been a tough game. So we're going to have to do a job and get it next week done to hopefully come back here in the final.
Well, I'll let you go and dry out, get your feet up, begin that recovery. Best of luck next week.
Thanks a lot, mate. Appreciate that. Cheers.
We can bring in now the Keighley Cougars head coach, Jake Webster. Jake, that was thrilling from a neutral perspective. I imagine it was a slightly harder 80 minutes as a coach.
Yeah, definitely. We, tailored two halves. Going down that hill, that first half, I think we were, in control. Game management was great by our halves and our spine. But credit to Rochdale. They're a team that never go away. You give them a sniff, and they just come with everything. So they really put up a good fight towards the end, and we were lucky to come away with a victory.
Jack Miller was player of the match this afternoon. We've just spoken to him. He spoke about playing the conditions and game management. How important was he today, the way that he just got you around the park, especially in those tight moments in the second half?
Very important. Jack's worked really hard over these last probably 4 or 5 weeks on that part of his game, and I think that came out today. Especially with the conditions the way they were. They weren't ever going to get any better. For him to step up and take control of that game, it's a credit to the hard work that he's done and the effort he's put in.
I guess that kind of tense finish, that real kind of physical battle you've had, is that almost perfect dress rehearsal for a final?
Yeah, it is. That's the boys looked a little bit shell shocked in that second half. But we know what to expect. We're going to go have a tough 2 weeks of training and get ready for that final.
Well, Jake, congratulations. Enjoy training, enjoy the build up to that final, and we'll see you there.
All right, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. We can bring in Jake's opposite number now, Gary Thornton. Gary, thank you for joining us. A tough one to take, especially with getting yourself so close in the end, but how do you take the positives out of that? Because there are plenty.
Oh, loads. As I've said all season, this is a team full of spirit and guts and character, and we showed that in the second half. I was disappointed with our first half performance. I thought we too many penalties, gifted Keighley far too many opportunities, and they were very clinical with it. To be fair, they deserved to be in front at half time. So we talked about a few things at half time and what we wanted to address and try and get some field position, some territory and good ball, and we did. And like I said, it's a team full of character. I knew as soon as we got ourselves back into the game, we'd kick on. Just another 5 minutes maybe, and who knows? We were very close at the end.
Jake's just spoken about how important Jack Miller was for them in leading them around the park. How difficult was it for you guys losing Lewis Ells kind of halfway through the first half?
Oh, massive. Lewis has been absolutely incredible this season. He's been fantastic for us. He's our talisman, he's our go-to man, he's our strike halfback, and so I knew it was difficult. Having said that, young Tom Ratchford, who we brought in on loan from Wigan, who's normally a 9, went in there and deputised quite well. So I can't take not too much criticism, but yeah, as anybody will tell you, when you lose your main pivot, your main halfback, it does throw your game plan out a little bit, and it does mean you have to readjust to the way you play slightly. So didn't help us, but that's part of the game, isn't it?
Will it be a challenge to pick the team up to go again next week now, or have you set yourself a platform with that performance?
No, it won't be a challenge for this lot because they just love playing rugby league and playing with, together. So I think we're ready for it. We know we've got to play Hunslet now again, which is bizarre, isn't it? We've played Hunslet already. We've got to play Hunslet again. Potentially we could come back to Keighley. That's just a bizarre playoff series for me, but that's what it is. That's what we've got to deal with. But no, I think we'll be all right. We'll pick ourselves up and we'll look forward to coming back to Keighley in 2 weeks' time, hopefully.
Well, commiserations today, mate, but your team made a good fist of it. I'm sure we'll see you again soon.
Thank you very much.
I'll bring in Andrew Henderson again. Well, Hendo, we cut our breaths back. We've just had a bit of everything, haven't we, in that game?
Well, I'll tell you what, it was an exciting finish, wasn't it, for the viewers there? I mean, that really went down to the wire, literally. And I think, like I said, I think Keighley will be pleased today that they've obviously earned the right now to go into the playoff final. But I do think they'll be disappointed in how they probably lost control of the game, I feel. Because I think at half-time they were commanding proceedings, really. I thought they were in good control. They had the ascendancy, and I just think it was the start of that second half where they probably just showed a little bit of ill discipline and lack of composure, which then gifted Rochdale some field position and opportunity, and Jordan Andre scored, didn't he? And it almost just gave them a little bit of a lift there. So I think Gary touched on it in his pre-match comments there that that Rochdale team can be very proud of how they stayed in the contest, stayed in the fight, and gave themselves, an opportunity to almost sneak it in the end. I mean, that's credit, because I think for large parts of that game, it was, Keighley were well in control. So I think there's some encouraging signs there for the Rochdale Hornets, that's for sure, as well as they face some of that disruption today with losing one of their key playmakers. So I think they'll be, even though disappointed to come away losing, I think they'll certainly still have some confidence about how they performed as well.
Gary's just said that he won't have any problems getting his team up for it. He said that they love playing the game, but when you've been that close in a big game, how hard is it to kind of get that energy again and get yourself up for another one?
Oh, I think he's got enough. You can see it. I think there's enough hunger in that team that they want to achieve something. So I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue, because I think if they're being realistic and they reflect on that performance, they probably know they weren't quite good enough to get the result. That's the fact. First half, I think they had 2 good ball sets. They didn't really apply enough pressure on that Keighley line. They didn't really get the opportunity, and I think some of their real discipline and ball control invited Keighley into good field position, and you have to give credit to the Cougars. They executed really well and scored some excellent tries to start with. So I think the Hornets will realise that they probably weren't at their best today overall. They showed great spirit and endeavour to come back the way they did in the second half, and even especially after losing their number 9 Roden as well, getting sent off. I mean, it was incredible to almost say that with a minute and a half left on the clock, they could have nicked it. So so I think, like I said, there's a lot of encouraging signs for the Hornets, but ultimately I think the Cougars just deserve to win it today.
And just finally on Keighley, 2 wins away from promotion. I think in a League One competition that probably didn't have that Oldham team in it, this Keighley side, you would say, would win maybe 9 years out of 10. They've got to go the hard way, but they can take a lot of credit for the way that they won today, and a lot of credit for the way that they stuck that game out.
Well, certainly the first half, I think they can learn some really good lessons from how they performed in the first half. I thought they showed some good variety in their attack. They played through the middle third. At times they took short sides. I thought the kicking game from Jack Miller was outstanding. It was exemplary, really. I think it was a big facet of their game, and I thought defensively as well they showed some great moments of steel and determination. So like I said, a lot of really good points from that first half for them to take forward.
Well, Endo, thank you for joining us. What an afternoon of rugby league here at Cougar Park on the Sportsman. The Betfred League One playoffs delivering yet again, as they do year on year. Next week we're off to the Betfred Wheelchair Super League for semi-final coverage. We'll have details of that confirmed very, very shortly, so keep your eye on our social media. Of course, join us on Wednesday as ever for the last tackle. We'll see you next time. The playoffs keep on delivering. Join us again. That is a remarkable finish.
Burke goes for the corner, and Leah Burke's there. And it's Tamsin Renew. The pass from Holly Dodd.
And this could be the first goal of the game, because London are going to get there and touch down. He's gone for the same ball, and it's going to work.
Beautiful.
They might score the winner. And North Wales have another.
Brings it up to the line, drops it off to Hazard, who reaches through.